I'm going to leave it up for like 15 seconds, and then I'll give you the other two pages you asked for as well, just so you can grab your pictures while I'm speaking. Okay. So what I want to do with you is help you to just understand the current marketplace and what's going on. So I've put together this slide set, and I'm just going to walk you through it, and help you see what's actually happening in the market right now today. Okay.
So we're going to be covering what's actually happening with mortgage rates. You know, they peaked out at 5.25%. Where are they now? Where are they going? We touched on that in the last session. We'll just expand on that a little bit more. We're going to be covering how to read the market and know when it's best to invest, where the best opportunities are, which strategies to use right now in this market to minimize your risk. And again, we started touching on that in the last session, but there's more work we can do here. We're going to cover maximizing your returns, and there are superb returns to be made, and why freezing and not buying right now in this window is the last thing that you should be doing. So as you know, I completed last year on £5.8 million worth of multi-generational holy lets, plus other types of properties as well, so well into the 6-7 million mark. I'm buying 100 properties right now, so we're kind of well into that period, well into buying those 100 houses and completing on those during this year and into next year. I want to show you that freezing is absolutely the last thing you should be doing, and getting in the market now is the time.
Now, I'm going to start with the media, okay? And the media are one of my pet hates, you're about to find out, right? So I looked through recent articles just in preparation for this, and just to kind of give you a feel, right?
So in the last couple of years, I've seen various things in the paper, and you will have seen them too. And I'm just going to pull a couple out. I could talk forever about this, right? Some of them said the market's going to go up 5% and then down 5%. Well, what does that actually mean? That actually means it's going to stay the same, right? So where's the news in that? Right, if it goes up 5 and down 5, it stayed the same. Then I saw another article. I mean, there was an article about 18 months ago where the headline was, prices will potentially drop 30%. Now, when you read the small print of that, they were selling papers, right? It would potentially drop 30%. When you read the small print, the small print said it was something like 1 in a million chance. But it allowed them to write the headline, okay? So they write that headline and sell the papers. Lloyd's predicted maybe 18 months ago now that the market would go down 8%. It's probably about 2 years ago, right? And it went down about 4 or 5% in 2023. And in 2024, it went down maybe 3%, overall. Maybe not even that, actually, because it dropped less than they expected it was, than everybody expected it was going to be. And most definitely in many areas, it's now on the rise. I'm going to break down for you what happens in each individual area just shortly, okay? But the people didn't report that Lloyd's had said 8% in the 30% article. They didn't bring that bit out, right? And remember, that's already happened. That piece of dropping's already happened, right? So I'm going to split down these different areas, because most people, if I said to you what's happening in the market, you might say it's falling or you might say it's stagnant. Well, it is and it isn't. In some areas it's falling slightly, mainly not, right? In some areas it's stagnant, and in some areas it's rising quite a lot, right? So there's a mixed kind of batch of information when you read the media, and what I'm telling you is don't rely on the media. Don't rely on the media.
There was another article I read. It said, you know what? People are pulling out of deals like crazy. It was saying the mortgage market's gone crazy. People are pulling out like crazy. And do you know what it said? It said it's gone up so massively, 30% of deals fall through. That was like the headline that they were trying to get. 30% of agreed deals fall through. Do you know what it was in the small print? That 6 months ago, 29% were falling through. So this is a disaster that's gone from 29 to 30%, right? The point I'm trying to make to you is you cannot let other people's feed affect you. You have to be intelligent. You are the keeper of your brain, no one else. No one else has this brain, it's only yours. And you're the only person that controls what goes in it and what comes out of it. Did you know in your brain, you might want to write down the letters RAS. My voice is just going a bit. RAS. It's the reticular activating system, right? Forgive me for the croakiness, okay? RAS, reticular activating system. That's a thing you actually have in your brain. What does a RAS do? A RAS's job is to look out for sameness. As a human being, you see so many new things every day. Excuse me, just take a drink. Be like a 13-year-old whose voice is breaking. So, as a human being, you see so many things every day, absolutely millions of things. Right now, while you're listening to me, out of the corner of your eye, you might not be noticing it, but things are happening. There might be an ant crawling around. There might be a spider, right? Don't want to scare you, right? But there'll be different things happening. And your brain is actually designed mainly to block things out so that you can focus. It blocks out all the noise and all the other stuff. You've been focusing on me, but stuff's been happening around you, just in the periphery of your vision all day long, right? What allows you to do that is your RAS, your reticular activating system. And your reticular activating system is designed to help you focus on, right? Help you focus on what your subconscious brain believes is the most important thing for you to focus on. Now, how does your subconscious brain know what is the most important thing? You program it. You program your subconscious brain all the time. Okay, you're doing it all the time. Now, most people have never heard of a RAS. They've not heard of a reticular activating system, right? But have you ever had a situation, for example, where you've bought a new car or a new dress or a new outfit? By the way, this is sounding awful, but I'm absolutely fine. So forgive me for the sound. It's not my aim, but I'm fine. I'll keep going. So you might buy a brand new red Mini, right? And you drive that red Mini down the street, and going the other way, you suddenly see 4 red Minis, right? Now, were those red Minis never there before, or was it that you just weren't noticing them before? It's because you're now noticing them, because your RAS is looking for sameness. It's the same with a new dress or blouse or shirt. You buy it, you don't think anyone wears it, and you go out that night and 3 other people are wearing it, okay? Has anyone ever had this happen to them before, by the way, by show of hands? Okay, now, my question to you is, what are you programming your brain with? Because if you're programming your brain by watching the news every day for half an hour or an hour, right? The challenge with that is if you're watching the news every day for half an hour or an hour, that news feed that you're allowing into your brain is normally negative. This person's died, this person's been blown up, there's this war happening over here, inflation is ridiculously high, people are absolutely skint, people can't survive, energy prices, etc. So you're hearing all of that take place, okay? And what is it programming your brain with? Your subconscious brain goes, oh, they want to know when bad stuff is happening. So the next day, your brain is listening out for more bad stuff. And you might be walking through a room and you just catch a conversation over here about bad housing market, or a conversation over here about inflation or someone dying, and you will pay attention because your brain will go, we need to pay attention to that. The next person, though, might never watch the news. They might never spend time around that stuff. They spend their time watching motivational videos on YouTube, let's say. So their feed is always positive, motivational videos on YouTube. So the next day when they go out, they won't even hear this conversation about inflation because they've distorted it out, they've deleted it, right? But the RAS will notice the person over here that's talking about a new meditation they're doing. Or they'll notice this person over here talking about something amazing that's happened today because they've been programmed in a different way. Does this make some sense by show of hands? So the challenge is, if you're not deliberately programming yourself, if you're not deliberately working on what you let into your brain, then you don't have control of what you'll hear and see next. There can be an amazing deal walked past you, but if you haven't been programmed to look for those deals, and you've not programmed your RAS to do the same, it will just walk past you and disappear. So it's critical, absolutely critical, that you are the keeper of your mind. And I would strongly urge you not to take your housing market stats, your mortgage stats from the media, because the media is purely designed to sell papers. They want to sell papers. So they're going to put the headlines in, whether that's a newspaper, whether that's the news at 10, they want to sell the news at 10. They want you to come back again the next day. And ITV want to beat BBC, and BBC want to beat ITV, and Sky wants to beat them both, and vice versa, right? So they use those headlines to try and capture you. And it's critical Absolutely critical you don't allow that feed in. So I'm going to walk you through how you stop that happening. But just before I do that, let's just look at a little bit more of this so that we're really starting to understand this, okay?
Okay, so let's look at mortgage rates. Okay, so the mortgage rates were increasing, weren't they? 2022, 2023, the base rate was increasing, increasing, increasing. And we all know that. That's history now, okay? And at all points, people are like, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? And then we peak out at 5.25, and then it starts to drop. So then we go to 5%, no, we go to 4.75, etc. So we're in a dropping phase, right? And people are like, when will it drop? When will it drop? When will it drop? So you've seen the data I've shared with you already on where these things are going. By the end of 2025, they're saying that they expect it to be down to maybe 3.75. Now it might end up being 4, it might end up being 3.5 because the budget, the first Labour budget, has maybe affected things slightly. It makes it a bit harder to read, but yeah, it's generally going to be down. Let's say a percent during 2025. Okay.
So if that's the case, the base rate was ridiculously cheap, wasn't it, for the last 15 years? The base rate was 0.1%. By the way, if you personally have had property over the last 15 years, anyone could buy any property and make money at it. So many people come up to me and complain about the base rate now and say mortgage rates are high, I can't believe it. And I kind of laugh politely, but you know what? 15 years ago, from 2007 before that, the base rate was always above 5%. It was totally normal. The money that you're borrowing now, if you're borrowing money at 6 or 7%, is really cheap money in my book. Because I wasn't brought up on 0.1% money. I was brought up on a base rate that fluctuated between 5 and 6% when I was younger. Those of you that are older, do you remember what I'm talking about? Just by show of hands to do a check in here, right? Sorry, I've just got you to confess to being older. I didn't mean to do that, right? So those of you that are younger, you need to believe this is normal, right? So anyone could make money. People come to me and they say, oh, flipping heck, the bank won't lend me 75% of the value of the house. They're saying that the house, the house is worth this amount, but the rent's not enough, so they won't lend me it. And they're really annoyed with the bank. And I'm like, I won't lend you the money either. You've got a house. What if they lend you 75% of the value of it? The rent's upside down. You'll owe more on the mortgage. There'll be more going out on the mortgage. Why would they lend you money on an asset that's losing you money? Right? You've bought the wrong house. And so many people in the last 15 years got away with it. They bought the wrong property, but they got away with it because it was so easy to make money in property over that period from a cash flow perspective. Not necessarily easy to buy the right asset growth property, but from a cash flow perspective, right? Now it's harder, but the opportunity is so much easier. And I'm going to expand and explain on that as we go through. But there's so much opportunity right now to buy at discount, to get great deals, etc. It's harder to get cash flow profit, but the opportunity actually is massive.
It's why I bought 5.8 million of Hollylets, like over 6 million of property in 2023, why I'm buying 100 right now, and I'll continue to buy a lot more over the coming year.
Right, because it's an amazing market to buy in. So what's the language you're using around this? How are you talking to people about this? How are you coming across with people? Because money right now, my language is it's unbelievably cheap. Would I rather the base rate was 0.1%? Of course I would. Of course I would.
So will it stay at 4.75? No, I've already covered that, right? Whoever you believe in, over the next 12 months, it's going to drop. Over the next 36 months, it's going to drop significantly. It's going to be down around that 2.25% mark. Some people say 1.7, some people say 2.5 of the economists that I know and trust. That's a long way down from now. So are you going to wait and buy later? People say, I'll just wait and buy later when the money shifts. I'm like, are you crazy? You're going to wait 2 or 3 years to get into the market when you could be making cash flow money now, you could be getting asset growth money now, you could be buying at bigger discounts now, and the ability to refinance along the way. But you're going to wait.
What you actually mean is I'm not going to do it. And here's a good excuse. That's honestly what those people actually, they might even not know they mean that, but that's what will happen. And I know that because I've been in this market 23 years and I met so many people in the credit crunch that said, oh, the market's falling, I'm going to wait. I was like, when will you get in? When it starts going back up? And they never got in. They never got in. Okay. I've seen headlines that say 80% of areas don't work for buy to let anymore in the newspaper. And I'm like, really? Surprise. They've never worked. If you've used my deal analyzer, my rules, they don't work. You've just been getting away with buying in them, right? So we've got to be really clear about our languaging. What's the language you're using? Okay. And I'm going to encourage you to use the right language about this. Warren Buffett says, buy when others are fearful, right? Right now in this marketplace, the market is volatile. When the market is volatile, right, it can still stay where it's growing. I'm going to show you some data in a little while about the market, okay? I'm going to show you the patterns. I'm going to show you the cycle that the UK property market goes through so you can start to understand it and read it, okay? But here's what I want you to understand. When it's volatile, as in some people are watching the media and are terrified, and some people know what's going on and are not terrified, and some people are happy to sit it out, right? The people that are terrified are an opportunity for you because they're selling up. They're selling up when they shouldn't be, selling assets that they shouldn't be, either because they're not trained right or don't understand right or because they've got fearful. And it means because they've had a rising market for the last few years, they're happy to sell at a discount. They're still cashing out with a good profit, not as much as they should, but it means you can get in at a discount. Does this make some sense by show of hands, Steve? Right? So the opportunity is the best right now. I think over the next 12 to 18 months is the best that you'll ever find over the last decade. And it's the best you'll probably find for another 15 years. Now, does that mean I'll only buy in the next 12 to 18 months? Absolutely not. But we're on a 15-year cycle, and this is the best spot for me, right? And I'm going to explain that and show you that and unpack that for you, okay? Warren Buffett also says, I quoted this earlier today, Warren Buffett also says, it's time in, the time you spend in the market that's important, not timing it. People say, oh, I'm going to wait, right? I know people 2 or 3 years ago that said, oh, the market's going to drop, I'm going to wait for it to drop. And then it went up 30%, right? So they never got in. They said, I'm going to wait for it to drop and then I'll get in. Because of COVID, they thought it would drop, but it went up 20, 30%. So get in the market. Please, 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 whether you do it with me, whether you do it with someone else, please get in the market. You're spending these 2 days to learn about it. You've got to go take action with it. Okay.
So buying in this market, we're getting better discounts now than we have for the last 16 years, okay? Now, I've got a done-for-you service. You might have heard me talk about we've bought people over 1,700 properties, building their portfolios for them. I'm not here to sell that. We're fully subscribed. Let me be clear on that. So I'm not here to sell it. We're fully subscribed. All the clients we're ever going to want or need, and we're sourcing properties for them, right? So, but having bought over 1,700 houses, having bought 400 in a year, right? I know what our average stats are. And on average, 11% of the stock that we buy, 11% is landlords selling up. So these are properties that meet all our rules, that meet all our analyzers, but for whatever reason, the landlord's selling up. That's our normal average.
11%, okay? Now, what do you think the data has been in the last 18 months? In the last 18 months, it says on my slide 41%, but it's now 47% of stock that we are buying with the same strategies, the same marketing strategies, the same ways of finding them. 47% of the stock that we're buying is landlords selling up. It's quadrupled. The number of landlords selling up has quadrupled. Now that data, by the way, is terrifying if you're a tenant. The tenants don't know this data, but it's terrifying. Landlords are selling up because they're saying the mortgage rates have gone up. They're saying I have to check rights to reside these days. I have to do EPC checks. It's going to be a grade C soon. They keep saying 2025. That's never going to happen, but that's another story, right? And all these other reasons that a landlord's finding it tough, right? And they're saying I'm getting out. But here's the thing, those landlords aren't trained. They're getting out and selling up, and these are properties that meet my analysis, that meet my rules, that will make a ton of money. Massive opportunity. Those landlords, many of them just want out. They're cashing out, they're done. A lot of them are 40% taxpayers and the tax changes a bit them and they should have just moved into different structures, but they didn't know how or they didn't bother to learn. And there's so much opportunity for you, right? The bottom line is that fear creates people freezing. When they freeze, they don't move. When they don't move, money and deals are left on the table and you can grab them. And like I said earlier today, there's more money in British savings accounts right now than there's ever been. So there's more money available than there's ever been, right? In the banking crisis 15 years ago, why did the market tank? Because the banks ran out of money. They actually ran out of money. Do you remember people queuing outside Northern Rock because they'd run out of money and they wanted to get the money out first, right? That isn't what's happened this time. The banks haven't run out of money. The banks are still lending. The money is still in the market, right? So people are comparing the two. Yes, inflation's not great news. Yes, mortgage rates being higher is not great news. I'm not here to say they are, right? But the opportunity to buy is unbelievable, right? So let's drive through this and start to have a look at some of the data and some of the numbers that sit behind this, right? When you invest in property, as a landlord, you win either way. What do I mean by that? Imagine this, right? This side of my body is rents. This side of my body is house prices. Okay? You buy a property, let's say it's an everyday buy-to-let property. Okay? It's London. It's the early 2000s. In the early 2000s, the housing market was moving upward very, very swiftly right across the UK. So the house prices on this side are going up swiftly. The rents are going up, but not quite as fast. We hit 2007-8 and people stopped buying so much. Okay? So the housing market slows down, even falls a bit over a year or two. But people, if you're not buying, they're renting, right? Because people go, I'm not going to buy, I'm going to rent instead. What was actually happening? People were saying, this is crazy. It's so expensive to buy, I'm going to rent. So more people start to rent. So supply and demand, what happens to rents? They start to go up really, really quickly. Right? So rents start to go up really, really quickly. We get to a point around 2012 and people start going, this is ridiculous. It's more expensive to rent than it is to buy. I'm going to buy. So rents don't crash back to the bottom. They slow down in their increase. They keep increasing, but more slowly. And the housing market goes crazy again. Boom, 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 boom. So in London from 2012 to 2019-20, rising, 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 rising. Rents are still rising, but not as fast. And guess what happens in 2020? People start to go, it's a bit more expensive to buy than to rent. I might start renting. And rents start to go through the roof. Can you see that pattern so far? By show of two hands, can you see what I'm talking about, team? Just to check in, because I'm doing a detail here. Right. So, the beauty is, it never crashes back down, does it? It's not a seesaw that smashes back to the floor and smashes you to smithereens. It's a ratcheting system. So as a landlord, people will run up to me at the back of Vedrum and they'll have a newspaper in their hand. They say, you've seen this? Have you seen this? The market's up 1% this year. Or the market's up 1% this month. Or down 1% this month. What do you think about that? And I'm like, I don't really care either way. Over the long term, I need rents to go up. Over the long term, I need property prices to go up. And they do. In the short term, I win either way. Either the rents are going up and I can release more money and buy more houses, or release money and have a great time. Or if the housing market's not going up, the rents are going up and I make more cash flow profit. So I win either way. Either the housing market going up, I can release and buy more, or the rent's going up, I'm making more profit. I don't mind which one's happening on a day-to-day basis, on a month-to-month basis, even year-to-year. Over the long term, I need them both. I need both profit levers. That stat, by the way, I've shared with you of ratcheting, every single first world country around the world, that's what happens. Every single one. It's virtually every single country. But every single first world country, right, that ratcheting system is in play. Does this make some sense by wave of arm, team? Making some sense? Fantastic. Okay, so you win either way. Now, as long as you buy to the right rules. and as long as you buy to the analyzer. If you bought properties before you met me and you're going, this property is not working, right, then you might not be winning. And it may or may not be right to keep that property for the long term. Those of you who've joined Property Mentorship Academy or are going to, send me over in that intro email your current portfolio and I'll review it with you. And I'll let you know what I'd keep and what I wouldn't, what I'd change. In most cases, it's worth keeping them. But in quite a lot of properties in the London area, for example, it's not. You're just upside down on cash flow. And that's not a good place to be. And you move that equity, you put it somewhere else, you make a ton more money. Ton more money. You can turn something making you a loss into something making you 20, 30 grand a year of cash flow by moving money around and asset around. So if you've joined my program, send it over. I'll have a look at that with you and we'll unpack it. Okay? So what I'd like to do is just share with you the housing pattern so you can understand what goes on in the housing market and what goes on in the housing pattern, right? So let me put up on the screen, okay? This data here is land registry data, okay? You can go tonight on, just go on Google and type in land registry house price index. And when you type that in on Google, right, you'll type that in and you can put into the land registry house price index different parts of the country. You can put in your county, you can put in whatever you want to put in, right? And it will give you the data, and that data goes back a long way, okay? So this isn't my data, this is land registry data. To be clear, land registry collate every single sale that happens, it gets registered at land registry, and that's where the data comes from. So it's the most accurate data bar none, right? If the market's moving very, very quickly, it takes 3 or 4 months to buy a house, a month to get registered. The data's about 5 months old. So if the market's up and down a lot, which is very rare, then land registry might not be your data source. But in a normal market like we're back in now, then absolutely it's a data source. Now, this graphic I'm showing you is a property that was bought in, well, it's basically showing you the graphic for the whole of the United Kingdom. I'll start to annotate it so you can see. If you see me looking here, I've got 2 screens. It's the whole of the United Kingdom, all property types. You see, you can do just detached houses, semi-detached, whatever you want to do. So the average house price in the UK back in 1969 was £3,600. That was the average house price back in 1969. The average house price in about June 2021, I can't remember exactly when it was, hit 250,000. And as you probably know, it's gone up and up and up to 280, 290, and it's dropped back a little bit and kind of around there, right? So it's a variable thing at the moment, right? It's a bit volatile at the moment, the average price, but that's the graphic, right? What I want you to understand is over the last 95 years, on average, the property market has gone up at 7.9% per annum. That's the average over the last 95 years. Over this period that you're looking at here, this 50 to 55 year period, do you know how much it went up on average? 10.5% on average. 10.5% per annum on average growth. Now, when I model, all the figures I share with you, everything I model, and tomorrow we'll unpack some models, by the way, tomorrow afternoon. When I model, I see Aran models at 5% growth. I feel that's more cautious. I feel that's more safe to model at just 5% growth, okay? But here's the thing. Here's what's really interesting. If you'd have modeled that forward at 5% growth back in 1969, do you know what that house will be worth now? Something like 20 or 25 grand. That's all. Maybe 30 tops. When I model at 5%, it's unbelievably cautious to model at 5%. Because the average genuinely is 7.9% per annum, and recently has been over 10% per annum. When I say recently, the last 50 years. So I feel very, very comfortable modeling at 5% growth. It makes me feel comfortable if I build my spreadsheet and I model on that basis. Now, how do you know what's going to go up and when it's going to go up? Does that make sense so far? By show of hands, team, by the way, right? So how do you know what's going up next and what the pattern is, and how do you plan for that? Because I do, by the way. I know what the patterns are. right? And the media reports on them wrong all the time. So let's have a look at this. I'm going to draw you another really rubbish map of the UK. So forgive me for my map drawing, right? Let me just find a sheet I can clear down. Okay. So here's the UK. Well, here's England, first of all, rubbish drawing. Here's Wales, right? Here's Scotland up here, and over here's Ireland. Now, the UK property market moves first in London. I'm going to call that area one. If the market's going up, it goes up first in London. If it's going down, it goes down first in London. But it moves first in London. About 12 months after London, the outer metropolitan does the same thing. So if London goes up 10% this year, the outer metropolitan will go up 10% next year. If London goes down 4% this year, it's not an exact science, but the outer metropolitan will go down between 3 and 5% next year, right? They follow the same trend. Over time, they all do the same. Most people don't know that, right? Then you've got area 3, which is kind of the southeast, right? East Anglia down into the southeast. So that's about 18 months behind London, right? Then area 4, as we come down here, and also up into the south part of the Midlands, so Birmingham, Coventry, Northampton, for example, Leicester, right? They're about 3 years behind London. So if London goes up 10% this year, in 3 years' time, Birmingham will go somewhere between 9 and 11. If it goes down 4% this year, in 3 years' time, Birmingham will go down 3 to 5. These are patterns. Don't just take my word for it. Go on the Land Registry House Price Index tonight and look at these patterns. You can see them for yourself. Then we get down to the southwest here, right? And you might hit Cardiff and Swansea start to move at the same time, right? Area 6, right? And that might be the other part of the Midlands, the north part, the Nottinghams, the Derbys, right? Area 6, this M62 belt, Liverpool, Bradford, Leeds, Huddersfield, across to Hull, right? Area 6 might be 3 or 4 years behind London, right? At the same time, by the way, Glasgow and Scotland might trigger and start rising, okay? Then the northeast and North Wales and the northwest are probably area 7, and the rest of Scotland up here is area 8. But here's what I want you to understand. Over time, if London goes up 100%, let's say over a 10-year period, right, it doubles in value, Birmingham will also double in value. It will just start 3 years later, but also finish 3 years later rising. Newcastle will also double in value, but it will start rising 5 years later, and it will start to level off 5 years after London. So if you have £1 million of property in Newcastle, $1 million in Manchester or Liverpool, $1 million in Birmingham, $1 million in London, over time, they go up the same. Now, some of you will be sat there going, surely this can't be true. Really? Because you see a newspaper article, it says the average house price is up £35,000. If the market's gone up 10%, right, or 12%, it might say, and someone in Newcastle goes, well, my house will never go up that much, my £80,000 house. But if the market went up 10 or 12%, that's like the one in Newcastle going up £8,000 or £10,000. But the way the articles are written, where are the newspapers written, by the way? Where in the country do they get written? Where? In London, right? So guess what they write about? Their market. Does this make some sense by show of two hands, team? Just so I can look around. Is this making some sense? Good, 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 good. Right. So what I want you to get is over time, they all go up the same. And you can start to learn the patterns. My head office is based in Scarborough. I live in Wilmslow, Cheshire, right? We moved here about 4 years ago, but my head office is over in Scarborough. 60 people or so, 50 or so are in the head office, 10 around the round. But my head office is in Scarborough, right? So I knew that market really well. I lived there for about 20 years. York is about an hour inland of it. If York went up 8% this year, we were going up 9 to 9% next year. If York went down 3% this year, next year we went down 2 to 4%. It's a science, right? Leeds is about a year behind Leicester, right? Newcastle's about a year behind Leeds. You can literally see these patterns. You can learn them. At Property Mentorship Academy, by the way, I teach you them. I teach you these patterns inside out and back to front. But I want you to understand now, as you start to understand this, what I want you to hear, right? When COVID hit, right? When COVID hit, and the newspapers were saying everyone's moving out to live in the countryside. No one wants to be in a flat anymore, right? That was true to a degree, right? But that only affected the market by about 1 or 2% maximum. That was the only impact on the market. What people don't realise, the London market was due to slow down anyway. It was going to slow down anyway in 2021, 22. That was going to happen, right? Because we follow a cycle. And here's how the cycle looks, right? The cycle that we're following is a cycle that is moving all the time like this. And generally you have 8 to 10 years of growth, right? And it's not an exact science. I can't promise you this exactly. 8 to 10 years of growth and 4 to 7 years of relative flat, right? So for example, again, the London example, early 2000s, we've got growth, 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 growth. Here, 2007, the credit crunch hit, it drops back down again, right? 2012, the market starts to rise again. By the way, throughout 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11, every meeting I had, every event I was at, I was telling people it'd rise in 2012. Sure enough, it did, right? That's not me being a genius. It was just because I've studied the market. I understand it. And the crash in 2007 that people say was a horrendous crash, do you know how much prices dropped on average? 10 to 11%. And that was when the banks had messed up. But what people don't tell you is the previous year it had gone up 10%. Right? So it went up 10% and came down it. In effect, a historian in 100 years' time looking back will go, well, that was pretty flat. Just the banks overlent. They were lending 125% mortgage. It was ridiculous. That's why we've not seen a drastic shift now. Even though rates have gone up like they've gone up again and again and again, we've not seen a drastic shift, have we? The papers would love to report it. They'd love to scare the hell out of you with it, right? But 2012, 8 years, we hit 2020 in London. We were due a slowdown. And some boroughs have fallen and some boroughs are flat. But do you know what? It's not falling in Birmingham. It's not falling in Liverpool. It's not falling in Leeds. It's flat. Now, it would have been rising 3 or 4% still. But do you know why it's gone flat a little bit earlier? The inflation has affected that. Just like it's affected London. The inflation has affected that. Because people are having to spend more on the mortgages and things. But they're not falling. What are you on about? The market's a bit softer. There's a few less properties selling a bit less quickly. But we've been used to them selling in a day, which was totally unrealistic. Does this make some sense by show of two hands? So now they take 2 months to sell, and we're like, this is a disaster, this market's horrendous. I better drop the price. I better... What are you doing? Just get back to normal, right? Just takes a while to sell a house. That's normal. Hold out for your price. If you're selling, don't sell, by the way. It's not good for you, unless you bought the wrong one. So I want you to understand this pattern, right? And I want you to understand over time that everything goes up the same. So people will try to pick an area. They'll try, I want my portfolio to be spread, because if you buy all your properties in Barnsley, or all in Manchester, or all in Leeds, or all in London, or all, the trouble is, if you hit a flat period and they're all in the same area, you're now flat for that whole period. But if you have your properties spread out a little bit, right? For me, if Sheffield hits a flat period, I can't release money from those properties, but I can release on my Manchester, my Leeds, my Liverpools, my other ones. And if Manchester's flat, right, I can release on my Newcastle ones, or my Sheffield ones. Does this make sense by show of hands? So you might buy 2 or 3 together. There's some economies of scale from building your expert team around those properties. I get that, right? Having a handyman team and all the tradespeople, having your letting agencies, etc. Whatever strategy you're doing, right? But only have 2 or 3 in an area. you would, when you invest in the stock market, they say don't put all your money into China, don't put all your money into IT, don't put all your money into pharmaceuticals. Right? Why? Spread the risk. Same with property. Understand they'll all go up over time. Understand it doesn't matter. By the way, rents are going to continue going through the roof. Those of you with a buy to let already, if you are not putting your rents up 5% a year, you are crazy. You are absolutely crazy, because you'll get to refinance and you will not be able to refinance. You won't be able to draw your money out. 5% a year is not enough, but I don't feel that more than that's ethical with a tenant in. My buy-to-lets, when they're coming empty right now, I've been putting my rents up 5% a year for the last 3 years, and still when they become empty, right, I can lift the rents by about £200 on my buy-to-lets. A £600-700 property becomes £800 or £900. And that is getting really scary. By the way, if you care about the economy and the country and everything else, that is terrifying. Because for tenants, it's a horrendous position. They're applying for a property and there's 50 other people applying for it, and the rents are through the roof. And it's not going to get better. No one's reporting this because it's not a vote winner. No one's talking about it because it's not a vote winner. It's a big problem. But as a landlord, right, when your property becomes empty, you can push the rent. And if you've got one tenant, you need to be pushing up 5%. By the way, I teach you always put your rents up, whatever the market is, 3 to 5% a year. Whatever the market. If you do that, you're always able to refinance and release money. But people get a tenant, they go, oh, they're such a nice tenant, we like them, right? We haven't put the rent up for 5 years. I'm like, fine, so you like them more than your kids then? Well, no, but you have to put the rents up because you need to go to refinance to buy more or refinance to release money. No one moves out for the sake of £30 a month. No one. Costs a lot more than that to hire a van. They might move out by coincidence at the same time, but they don't move out for the sake of that. Has this made some sense by show of two hands, Steve? Right? I sounded a little bit preachy there about the media. I just wanted to get the message across. It's up to you what you do and how you roll, right? It's your life, okay? But I want you to understand the market, and Land Registry House Price Index is a great starting point. Those of you on Property Mentorship Academy, I'm going to spend a lot of time with you on this so you can literally read the market and know what is going on in your area, where's going to go up next, etc. I'm going to spend that time with you. But for those of you that won't continue your journey with me after tomorrow, then Land Registry House Price Index is a great place to start. And definitely stop reading the media and following that. You can just see what's happening in reality on that index. Cool. From a content perspective, that is it for today. That is my content for today, right? I want to finish today with a message, right? And then I'm going to do some Q&A just to help you, right? I want to finish with a message, right?
So don't tell me you can't do this. I've already shown you just today, right? Just today with the material we've covered today that you can do it. You can literally start with no money and build a portfolio. You can borrow £6,000 from one individual and build a portfolio. I've not had time to cover it, and we won't cover it during these 2 days, but you can do rent to SA where you just need £6,000 from one human on the planet, and you'll be able to get onto £50,000 a year within the next 2 and a bit years, just by borrowing £6,000 from one of 8 billion people, right? And then using that money wisely. We can show you how to do that. Tomorrow I'll show you how you can make kind of £40,000 a year of cash and equity growth from just one property. We're going to cover that and cover through it. Tomorrow we're going to cover buy-to-lets, because everyone's going buy-to-let is dead. Absolute nonsense. Buy-to-lets are awesome still. The cash flow's not as good, don't get me wrong, but buy-to-let works. I'd rather the base rate was 0.1, but they're still awesome. So don't tell me you can't do it. Don't put up with that excuse anymore. In fact, you can't, because you've been here and heard me share this, right? So you can't live with that. You need to make a decision. We started today saying it's about the decisions you make. The outcomes you get in life are driven by the decisions you make. And what I'm urging you to do is to make some different decisions and make this happen, right? Now is your time. I've bought over £6 million more property in the last year, right? You can be doing the same. It doesn't have to be 6 million. It could be 1 million, it could be 100,000. It's up to you, right? But now is your time. You're here for a reason. You came here to learn, you came here to take action,
Write this formula down. It's learning times action that equals results. It's awesome that you're learning from me, and I congratulate you on it. There's lots of other things you could have done today, and you've chosen to be here, and that is flipping awesome. You've chosen to feed your brain and to learn, right? But it's only with action that learning is useful. We all know some real genius geeks that never take any action, so they're a genius, but they never get very far. And we also know busy fools, people that take loads of action, 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 but it's the same action all the time, so they never get very far. Real success, real successful people take the multiplication of the two. And in fact, I can give you another formula. It's belief times action that equals results. And I want you to believe in you. I want you to understand that you can do this, right? Everyday people are doing this. I've got 17 years old people doing this who can't even get a mortgage in their own name till they're 18, and they're still getting financially free. Lots of people in their 20s, or people in their 80s and 90s, right? You've no excuse. You can't say I'm too old. You can't say I'm too young, right? It's a choice. And it starts with you deciding that you want to get this done. So we'll unpack this more tomorrow. We'll spend more time on this tomorrow. But I hope that's helped. Now is your time. What's your decision going to be? What's your decision going to be? Okay. So thank you for being here today. Tomorrow we'll start 9 o'clock for networking. 9:30 with me on stage. We'll run through till about 4:30. So plan that out, clear your diary, tell your family you're not available, make sure you're here. And like I said earlier, if you've loved today, honestly, tomorrow will blow your brains. Honestly, it will. What I'm going to do, that's the content finished for today, including the bonus session. But what I'm going to do, if you want, I'm going to stay here for about maybe another half hour. I'll just go through as many questions as I can. I want to go see the kids. I want to spend some time with them, but I want to answer as many questions as I can in the meantime. And then when I finish doing that Q&A, what we'll do is we'll open up the networking rooms, and you can jump in there and network with each other and spend some time together talking to each other and spending time with each other. Okay. Yeah, does that make sense as a process and what we're going to do, team? Just so I know. So brilliant. If you're leaving now, thank you for being here today. The bottom line is invest with knowledge, invest with confidence, create financial freedom. Go make the magic happen. Go make the magic happen, team. Thank you so much for being here today. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you, thank you. So, okay. So what I'm going to do is just take a 60-second comfort break. So just allow me to go get a quick comfort break. Then when I come back, we'll get diving into these questions. In the meantime, you can start typing your questions into the chat, and I'll be back to you really, really shortly. Give me 60 seconds, and then we'll get rocking and rolling, and I'll answer as many questions as I can.
Cause you're a sky full of stars. I'm gonna give you my heart. Cause you're a sky full of stars. Cause you light up the park. I don't care, go on and tear me apart.
Hi team, welcome back. So yeah, let's do some Q&A. Let's do some Q&A and see how we can help you on your journey. You've spent a lot of time today listening to me, so let's see if I can listen to your questions and give you some answers. I just wanted to kind of give a big shout out to those of you that have joined me in PMA, and this is not the full list, so apologies, but Josephine, Joel, Kobe, Hajni, I think it is, Jackie, Hazel, Delia, Jill, Julie, and more, many more. But they were the first few that came in. So really, really, really looking forward to seeing you, to working with you, and thank you so much for trusting me with those next steps of your journey. So yeah, there's just a couple of places left if you want to grab a place. Speak to Devon. Team, can we put Devon's phone number in the chat? I know we did that earlier, but speak to Devon or just go straight to the link and claim that spot. Remember, this type of Q&A we're going to do now, you get loads of this in the first 3 months within that package. So brilliant. Right, let's pick some questions up and we'll take it from there. So I'm gonna start by picking up the questions from from now onwards, but then I'll go back up the thread from the questions that have come in during the day as well. So brilliant. So Hajni, what's the best way to approach mortgage lenders? Do you have a script for new mortgage stroke refinance, etc.? So Hajni, for me, the best way to approach your mortgage lender or lenders is to use an expert broker. They're going to shop the whole market for you. They're going to find the best deal for your circumstance, your situation, and then they're going to say what needs to be said. They're not going to mislead or fib, but they're going to say what needs to be said. They'll know the best path on all the situations. So for me personally, I use the Mortgage Home. Earlier today, I gave them away as a freebie. I gave away a free review with them, which is normally £395, and you can get that for free. So team, can you just drop that in the link again for Hajni? And Hajni, I'll go speak to them, and then they'll help you work out the best deal to put together. So Vineet, you've put price ? Can you just tell me what that refers to, and then I can make sure I answer it. I don't know if it refers to Property Membership Academy or to something else. So if you can just let me know, that would be great. Anita, great to see you. Would you discount the idea of a? By the way, be amazing if we can have the cameras on, so that lots of cameras are on, by the way. But it's great to be able to see you, those of you asking questions, so I can see you. So would you discount the idea of buying a property that had a local occupancy order on it, the whole of North Yorkshire, if it's a Great Bly and you want to convert to Holylet? So if it's got a local occupancy order, I'm assuming what you're meaning is an order in place that says that only people that come from North Yorkshire can live in it. I may be wrong. So there's different types of occupancy order. If that's true, you won't be able to use it as a Holylet because there's people coming from outside areas to stay in it, and I don't think that will work. But if you can give me some more detail on the occupancy order, then I can tell you. I don't generally like any properties that have extended conditions on them, like a steel structure makes it harder to get mortgages. That, by the way, may or may not make it harder to get mortgages. It may make it harder to get tenants, for example, if you chose to buy to let it. So I don't like the idea of it, but let me know exactly what the occupancy order is saying. I might be able to help you some more, Anita. T Tiger, so I'm going to call you Tiger if that's okay. I don't know if that's your first name or your surname. So houses valued at 350k. I need 175k to buy a sibling out. What would be the best way to raise the money? Bank gives two options: 675 interest only, 345 repayment. But now listening to you, I'm thinking maybe I can borrow from the vendor strategy. So yeah, Tiger, I don't fully understand what you're saying. The first thing I'm going to say is, why do you want to keep the property? So for me, we've touched on this, but for me, you want £600 of rent. This is for all of you when you analyse a deal at a real simple level. I want you really on Property Membership Academy. You've got your analysers, you've got the rules. It's going to keep you safe. You know, right? Just one transaction like this, it'll totally keep you safe, right? So, but basically, based on £600 a month of rent for every 100,000 of property value as a minimum, that's a very basic check. Then you'd want to be getting £2,100 a month of rent for this property. I'm assuming you're going to rent it out. If you're getting that, then I can see why you're interested. If you're not, then you might be better to sell yourself and move that 175,000 and put it into a different investment. For example, 120,000 invested, I showed you earlier today, 120, 130, you can get a multi-generational holiday that'll make you £25,000 a year of cash flow profit that you get to keep. So that might be a better place for you to have your money. Now, let's assume you do want to buy it for now. Then the first thing I'd say is, if you're keeping it as a buy-to-let, borrow 75% of the value. If it's got no mortgage on it, you haven't said, but I'm going to assume that, then you'd borrow 75% of the 350, which will be, I don't know, 270 or something like that, or just under 265, and you'd pay them out 175, and it would leave you with 90 in your pocket to go and invest and buy some more. And the rent covers the mortgage, and you go invest and buy some more. That's what I do in that scenario. Or, of course, you can use vendor finance. So if you're buying someone out, a sibling, ask them what they're going to do with the money. If they're not going to do anything with the money, then say, instead of buying you out, can I pay you ideally 3%, but let's say 5% on the money, which might be, just under £10,000 a year, and I just pay you less than 10. So now that could come with buying them out, but then instead of paying them, you keep the money and you pay them 10,000 a year, or they keep a share of the property growth. Just be careful of that piece, because if you pay them the interest on the money, you don't want them to have the property growth as well, probably. So, well, that makes sense. But yeah, that's absolutely a strategy you can use. Often you'll buy the sibling out, they've got nothing to use the money for, they just want out of property, and you can pay them interest for them on the money. Okay. Suzanne, hi, I missed the session about further teaching opportunities. Please, can you give me the detail? What I'll say, Suzanne, I'll get Devon to give you a call. So Devon, if you can just give me a thumbs up to that. And Suzanne, can you just make sure Devon's got your phone number? Devon, message Suzanne I'll let you two message directly. Devon Sampson is on here, and he can explain, Suzanne, how we can help and support that. So Sarah, great to see you on here. JV for a buy-to-let. Do we ask for all the cash or just the deposit, legal, stamp duty, etc.? It depends on the deal. But if you can get mortgage finance for 75% of it, that's normally cheaper than the JV money, and therefore we'd normally just borrow the deposit and the costs, say 40,000 for a normal buy-to-let valued between 80 and 150, about £40,000, rather than borrowing the whole lot to buy it for cash. Best company to get a family holiday mortgage, and what are the rates, Susan? Totally depends, Susan. I mean, is it an ex-hotel? Is it an ex-B&B? Is it an just detached house or semi-detached house? Is it already a holiday let? Is it not already a holiday let? It's not that simple. Speak to the experts with your exact scenario. That's what you want to do. So that link that's in the chat further down probably now, for the mortgage home, where they'll review for free with you, just speak to them. It's free to have a conversation. You can then choose to use them and pay them or not. That's up to you. But it's free to have a conversation. They'll give you a feel. And again, rates vary quite a lot depending. If it's a larger sleep 16, sleeps 20, the rates will be a bit higher because it's a bit more commercial. But if it's a sleeps 10 or 12, the rates won't be as much. And we're going to cover a bit of this tomorrow, Susan, and what one of those may look like, etc. What matters, bottom line, is the profit. And if you're buying the right ones, 120, 130k in and profit of 25k per annum profit as well. So AJ, thank you, Sarah. So Sarah, I have not paid Sarah to say that. So at 5:13, Sarah's written, I'm already a member and I love it. So Sarah, I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And you can all see that. So there you go, testimonial live in person. Would you buy under your name or a company, Monica's saying? So Monica, it depends on your personal situation, your tax situation. And because there are still 80 of you on here at the moment, and each and every one of you has a different tax situation, I can't specifically answer for any of you. So, but that's why, as long as you're here at the end of tomorrow, 4:30 tomorrow, as long as you're still here at the end, then we're going to give you access to my property tax masterclass. We've sold that in the past for £997. You'll get free access to that, and that helps you as an individual work out own name or limited company or a hybrid of the two. Melanie, would you buy a listed building? Well, the simple answer is yes, because I've got one, and the longer answer is not ideally. And what I mean by that is they cost more. So if the deal's good enough, it's not going to stop me buying one. But if I've got two like for like and one's listed and one's not, I'll take the non-listed every single time. If we're buying a listed holiday let, for example, we generally budget about an extra £3,000 a year on average of maintenance costs. It'll come in a big hit. So it won't be on a yearly basis, but it'll come in a big hit. So if the deal still stacks with that built in on my analyzers, I'll still buy it. But if I've got a like for like, I'd rather buy the one that wasn't listed. Sarah, thank you, Aaron. How do we joint venture for a buy-to-let from start to finish with a GIM? Again, there's so many ways to do it, Sarah. So if you're going to JV with someone, they may be lending you the money just for cash. What I mean, GIM, guaranteed interest model, where you just pay them interest, or they may be lending you the money and want a share of it. I'm going to assume you've put GIM, so guaranteed interest model, they just want interest. So they lend you £40,000, you buy a buy to let, and what you're going to do is wait for it to go up in value over the next few years so you can refinance it and then pay them back using the money that you can refinance. Let's say you get 2 or 3 years in and it's going to take 5 years to do that, and they ask for their money back. What you can do is refinance and pay them back what you can, and then whatever the balance left is, you can always find someone else to lend you. You might have gone from 40,000 to 20,000. You can borrow the 20,000 from someone else and use that to pay them back, and you've just got a new. It's called refinancing. You're just refinancing your JV partner. So many people forget you can refinance your JV partner just like you can refinance a buy to let. Okay, is it to? I've answered that one. Limited company or own name. So. What's the minimum length of rent to go for? That's coming from Editor or Editor. So minimum length of rent to go for. You want a break clause after 6 months in case for some reason you've got it wrong, in case it doesn't work. If you use my analyzers and you use my rules, it'll keep you totally safe. You'll never put your money in an SA that's not going to work. However, if you don't follow them and you kind of try and do it yourself, there's always things people miss out. There's always things people get wrong. And be wary of sources. They put the deal in front of you, but they miss out a few of the costs. So it looks profitable and then it turns out not to be. So I want a break clause for 6 months, but I don't want the landlord to be able to break me out. So I basically would look for a 1-year contract or a 2-year contract, but with me having the ability after 6 months to get back out of the deal in case we've made an error, if that makes sense, or in case you did. So yeah. Craig, I'm tied into a fixed interest only on my buy-to-let for another 18 months. I could release 125,000, but would need to pay early repayment charge, or do I wait to complete remortgage? So for me personally, Craig, it depends on the opportunity cost. So let's say your penalties are £3,000. I've no idea what they are, right? The question is, if you get 125,000, can you make an extra £3,000 in the next 18 months? Now, provided you get it invested, the answer's hell yes. Excuse my language, right? But you know what I mean? 125,000 in a multi-generational holiday, that'll make you £20,000 in the next 12 months because it'll take you a while to get it and buy it. And it's going to cost you 3,000 of penalties. Well, I'll take it all day long. But if the penalties are £12,000 and you're going to put it in 3 buy-to-lets, it's better to wait. So yeah, in most instances, when I'm growing my portfolio, I would, in that example, pay the penalties. And I don't know all your other scenario, all the rest of your situation. If you've joined Profit Mentorship Academy, you're going to get my email address over the weekend as part of that package. Drop me an email with the whole scenario, and then let me have a proper look at it, Craig, and give you feedback. So someone's asked, how do I join Profit Mentorship Academy? It was an offer we made earlier on today. If someone could put the link in the chat again, and you can look at 527 in the chat, 528, the link will be in there. Or better still, you can speak to Devon, and Devon can answer any questions about that. Jackie said, is the 3-day event online or in person? So Jackie, it's an in-person event. Profit Mentorship Academy is an in-person event. And then as a bonus, I gave that offer, and then I extended it to a few more people, that if you get signed up, right, if you get signed up soon, it's not many places left, but if you get signed up soon, I'm going to give you an extra 3-day virtual event as well, which is different 3 days. So you get 3 days live, 3 days virtual, and then at the end of that, a day at my house as well. Okay, so yeah, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. Would you share your deal analyzer spreadsheet, please? That's from Thet. Absolutely, Thet. I will. Join Property Mentorship Academy. Right? I can't give you everything for free. I'm serving you like crazy here. But yeah, and 1995 is virtually free once you offset the tax claim you'll have on it. But that's how you'll get that, Thet. That's how you'll get that. So Devon, can you give Thet a ring and just see if Thet would like to do that? So can buy it, you can use a holly let. Anita, that was following up from earlier, wasn't it? Let me just scan back up to your original question. Would you discount the idea of buying a... You can buy it and you can use it as holly let, you're saying. So yeah, in simple terms, Anita, then yes, that occupancy order then wouldn't be worrying me. And I'd want to read the occupancy order to be certain. If you're going to take my advice and go action on it, I've not got enough information in front of me to tell you go do it, if that makes sense. I want to read the actual occupancy order to be able to say that to you. Equally, a solicitor should be able to do that as well and walk you through the risks of the occupancy order and the benefits. Sarah, what do you think of off plans? I don't like off plans really at all. The trouble with an off plan is you put a deposit down now, and the builder uses it to build a house. So basically, you're funding it, right? And they don't give you the keys for 6 months or 9 months often, or 12 or 18. And in their contract, if they're late, no penalty. So often they'll tell you it's going to be 12 months, it ends up being 19, and there's no penalty, there's no forfeiture, and your money's just tied up for that whole period. So for that reason, I don't like off plan, and I definitely covered it earlier, but don't like flats and apartments. So, by the way, is this useful, team? Are these questions useful? Give me a thumbs up. Give me a wave. Good. I'll carry on then. Thank you. I'll carry on. So, Ken, Aran, when buying, I assume we use an SPV limited company now. It depends on your tax position, Ken. So if you're a 40 or 45% taxpayer, the likelihood is my answer is yes, but not always. It depends what you'll do in the next couple of years. And if you're not a 40% taxpayer, the likelihood is I'll say buy them in your own name. So again, watch the property tax masterclass I'm going to give you tomorrow, right? But let's assume you were doing that. Will my credit background as the director shareholder still be looked at the mortgage? It will. It will. They'll credit check you, any shareholders, and they'll want you to sign as guarantors on the mortgage. So it's just like you've taken it out personally from that perspective. Also, if we sell that SPV, will the takeover of the SPV, but the new owner still trigger capital gains? Well, if you sold the SPV in its totality, the new owner would need to speak to the mortgage lenders who were lending at the time, and they'd be happy they were creditworthy to buy it, and they take on the risk that you did something in the last 5 years that they know nothing about, that then will fall on them because they bought the limited company. So not many people will buy the limited company, they'll buy the properties out of it. But if they will do it in that way, by the way, I teach you to never ever sell. We'll cover that tomorrow afternoon. But if they did do it in that way and they did buy it from you, then it would just trigger capital gains on the shares. So on the sale of the shares, which is a lower capital gain bill than on sale of property. However, buy your properties and keep them till the day you die is my recommendation, and then you never pay any capital gains, and I'll explain that tomorrow afternoon for you. Okay. Cool. The order says you can only live in it as local occupancy or use as a holiday, not as a second home. Okay, understand. If that order's very clear and is just saying that, then that wouldn't put me off from buying it. The only thing I'm pointing out, Anita, is the danger is when you put it back up for sale, you are ruling out second home buyers. So you've just got a few less buyers. Now, there's not that many of them that it would stop me doing the deal, but I just want you to be aware of that. That has an impact on resale value, that your plans to never ever sell, but if you chose to sell, it would have an impact. Jackie, I booked a portfolio review call next week. I've joined the PMA. Do I still need to proceed with the portfolio call? Jackie, personally, I wouldn't. You're very, very welcome to, and the team will be happy to have it with you. But now you've joined PMA, it's me that's here to look after you. So what I'd do instead is I'd cancel that, let them know, and I'd email me, once you've got my email, and tell me all your scenario, and then I'll help you with it. And we'll go back and forth and get a clear plan together, and then you're getting it from me rather than one of the team. That is not to downplay the portfolio reviews for those that have booked them. The team are excellent. They'll do a great job. But Jackie, you've invested to get me. So, yeah, that's what I do. But I'll leave it with you. I'm not going to assume that. I'll let you message Devon directly if you want to change that. Okay. So brilliant. Team, I don't know if you did drop that link in the chat again. You might have done, and it's just further down. I'm not sure you did. So can we have the link for Property Mentorship Academy, please, in the chat again, and Devon's phone number in the chat again, because I can't see that it's been put back in when I asked for it, and it may have been. So apologies if I'm just missing it. So right. Got a bit of a jump on my timing, so I'm just check that I've just skimmed past some. Just let me skim back up again. What's GIM mean? AJ is asking. So it's guaranteed interest model. It's where someone lends the money and gets a fixed rate of interest on the piece. We talked about it earlier on, and some people put in the chat GIM because they were interested in lending me the money and getting a guaranteed rate of return, or me and my company. So cool. We'll cover that a bit more tomorrow. Okay. A good sourcing company for buy-to-let in the Northwest, please, Aaron. Go back to sourcing, please. There's no one I could specifically recommend. And Sarah, what I don't do, if I announce someone now, everyone will go to them, and then they won't be good anymore. They'd get sunk with inquiries, and they wouldn't be good. So within your package, I'll teach you. If you want to email me, I can point you in the right direction for the learning for you to find them, and they're really easy to find, because I know you're on Property Mentorship Academy. That's the best way to do that, rather than me just give you a name, because then everyone goes to the same name and they get sunk and they don't deliver. So if Hajni, if mortgage interest rates fall in the next year or so, would it not be better to wait? No, get in now. The deals are better when the interest rates fall. Do you remember what I said earlier on? When the interest rates fall, okay, less people will be selling, so the deals won't be as good, so you'll pay more for them. Whereas now you can get in and get more discount. That's the reason not to wait. Okay? And you get in, you take a 2-year deal, and you refinance it in 2 years anyway. Whereas otherwise you're just waiting for them to fall, and you're not sure exactly when they fall. When are you actually going to get in? So no, don't wait. Definitely don't wait. Cool. Is it worth buying a guest house? Kevin says, is it worth buying a guest house and converting to Holylet? Has 9 bedrooms, but 600k asking prices above your guideline location, seaside town. So Kevin, based on what you've said, I'd explore it further. You need the deal analyzer, and you need to put the details in there. Any of you that are going to do mortgage and Holylet, right, that make you 25 grand a year, you've got to invest the 2k. Like, it's a no-brainer. I've got 19 plus of them, right? Plus, because there's stuff in completion, I'm not sure if it's completed yet or not, right? I know exactly how to do it, and it's just 2 grand to get the help, right? The deal analyzer will tell you, because it depends on the rental income and it depends on the costs of running it, which the analyzer will deal with all of that and how to get the rental income estimations and all of that side of things. But you've got to run it through the numbers. I've got multi-generational Holylet's worth 1.2 million. I'm not telling you to get those, right? I bought that because it's got a building plot as well on the land where I'll build another one. But I've got them worth 1.2 million. I've got a plot that's worth over 2 million. And I've got them at 600, 700, and I've got them at 450, 400, 200, 250, etc. So the guideline I gave you earlier on is a great guideline to work towards when you're looking for them, especially for your first 1 or 2. Yeah, a 9-bed at 600k with the right rental income could potentially work, but you need rental income of 110, 120, which they could easily get. So would you sell a flat where you are not making money and actually paying your money to cover tax and service charge? Yes. Yeah, you never, ever want an investment that is cash flow negative. You don't want to be investing in something that is cash flow negative. Raphael, what do you think about BRRR? So for everybody else, that's you buy it, you refurbish it, you rent it, and you refinance it. Okay, buy, refurbish, rent, and refinance. It's a good strategy. It can work. But the challenge is in the refurb. It's very hard to buy and refurb and get enough uplift now to be able to refinance all your money back out. Like really, really hard. And so it's not a strategy I specifically go after. I do what I showed you this afternoon, where I'm looking for motivated sellers with a minimum 25% discount or control now, pay later. Yeah. Or I invest in the multi-generational holidays. I've got lots of clients that invest in all the other strategies as well because it's right for them. You've got to do what's right for you. So, but I don't particularly target BRRR. I've done loads of them. I can teach you how to do it, and you can get uplift from it. But it's hard, very, very hard to get all the refinance out, which is why it's not one of the 5 core strategies. Okay, that's cool. Editor, sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Why don't you like flats and apartments? Transiency. Again, I'm going to cover this tomorrow afternoon. But you move into a property, 1 bedroom, right? They fall in love with someone that's in the other 1 bedroom. Guess what? They move out, right? So now your property's empty again. With a 2-bed, people move in. They've got 1 baby. They get pregnant. They're having another baby. They move out. So you get more transiency in your 1 and 2 beds. Also, flats and apartments, you're paying a service charge. That's for the outside areas, right? The hallways and everything else. That's normally the same amount of money or more than I pay for a 3-bed house inside and outside. So they're just not as profitable. And then mix into that pot that, if you've got a flat in a block of 20 flats and the whole building needs re-rendering and it's 80,000 each, they come to each flat owner and go, we need 4,000 each. You know what happens next, don't you? Well, you will if you've lived in one and owned it. What happens next is 4 people go, well, I can't afford that. So now either the other 16 have to chip the money in and cover theirs, which they don't want to do. And so the render gets worse and worse and worse, and it ends up costing 110,000 for the render when it's sorted out. It's just very, very difficult. As a landlord, it's not something I enjoy doing. We've got rid of all our flats bar 1. I bought them before I had my rules, the ones that I had, about 6 or 7, and we've moved out of that market, and I don't recommend it. Ivan, can I put my son teenager as a shareholder? Great question. So Ivan, they normally need to be 18 to become a shareholder. So it depends what kind of teenager, what age, but it needs to be 18. Okay, but you can add him on later when he's 18, and you can use something called alphabet shares. You can start now with A shares, and then he could get a B share, and you could put him on, and then dividends go out to him if he's going through uni or something. So there are ways of doing that. Be very, very careful though that you speak to the accountant and the mortgage broker, because alphabet shares can affect mortgageability before you do something like that. Okay. So is there a good way to move a property? So this is Bart. Hi Bart. Is there a good way to move a property from your personal name to your limited company if you're a high rate taxpayer? Yeah. There are companies out there that say you can do it. I mean, you can do it if they charge you a fee to do it and say you'll avoid all the taxes. It's a fib, in my opinion. This is my opinion. I've got about 70 of my portfolio. I've got over 200, but about 70 are in my own name. I'm a 45% taxpayer. So is my wife. We'd far rather have them in limited company. But all the due diligence we've done and all the checks we've done from all the different accountant schemes and offers to move them over, it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. So we've left them where they are. So whilst it's very painful compared to how it was to leave them where they are, we don't move them. So you can do it, but not without avoiding the fees. You'll in effect be selling and the limited company will be buying. So the limited company will pay stamp duty and you will pay inheritance tax because you'll be selling. Sharon's put, you can move it into a SIP or SAS, but that comes with additional problems. You can't move it into a SIP or SAS unless it's commercial, Sharon. So a commercial property can go to a SIP or SAS, but again, that it does come with its problems, definitely. But that's only commercial properties. Okay. Devon's phone number's there in the chat. So's the link to PMA, which is very easy. The insightgroup.co.uk/PMA. Okay, Sylvia, I think it is. I wasn't contacted by anyone. How do I contact Devon for a chat? There's the number. If you've connected, great. If not, Sylvia, message Devon or Adam right now. Just message them now with your phone number, your best number. By the way, if any of you haven't been contacted by Devon today, he's been WhatsApping with most people on here. If you haven't had a WhatsApp or been connected with, it's because you gave us a false number at the beginning. You know, when you first register, you go, I don't know this company, I'll just put a funny number in. Right, you've been here a day now, I hope you're enjoying it. It'd be a great opportunity to give your right number, because people have been getting information through the day, and they can keep in touch with you. So AG has said, putting my two properties into trust to minimise IHT and probate. I would be incredibly careful about that. AG, I don't know you, and I don't know your scenario. So, and forgive the directness, you might be about to die tomorrow, and then you definitely want them in trust. I'm 52 now, and I'm not putting mine in trust until I'm at least in my 70s. Now, if I die tomorrow, my family will be really annoyed that I never put it in trust. But the trouble when you put it in trust is you cannot get mortgage finance, right? And this model of growing your portfolio works based on having as much liquid cash as you can. That's why it beats the stock market, because you can leverage and borrow 75% loan to value. Again, we'll cover more of this tomorrow afternoon, not specifically around trust, but how you build a portfolio from 1, 2 or 3 up to 8, 9 or 10. So once you put those in trust, you're basically saying, good news, these two will pass to the kids without inheritance tax on them, right? And probate on them, right? Great. Bad news though, if I live another 10 years, the 2 would have turned into 6, and they'd have inherited 6. And if they'd had to sell 1 to pay the taxes, they'd have still ended up with 5 instead of 2. Well, I'd rather give them 5 instead of 2. And if it's another 20 years, they'll be 18 instead of 2. And because you put it in trust now, you've only ended up giving them 2 instead of giving them 18. Sell 3, sell 4. They're still getting 14 instead of 2. So yeah, be really, really careful with the trust. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a tax advisor. So these are just my opinions. Please, that's my disclaimer around this. But check all of that stuff out, AG, and be really careful. And AJ, I saw you said you're considering it, and other people too. That's my feedback on it. So, by the way, if you're enjoying this Q&A, which I know you are, imagine how cool it'll be to have me for a year for any question you've got, as often as you want, as many as you want, right? And those of you that have joined PMA, you've got that. And there's like 2 or 3 places left, I don't know, where you get all the extra bonus offers, right? Go grab them. If you're sat on the fence, now's your time to go grab them. Sharon, I'm already a property investor and have a mix of commercial and residential. Well done, brilliant. I've always worked towards using rents to pay down mortgages, and how pretty much have a small loan to value now. I think I'm missing a trick listening to 75, if I realise the capital does that attract CGT. Sharon, you're just in dreamland now, right? So release it all. There's no capital gains tax on refinance money. So you release it all. You either go quit your job and live off it, or you go travel around the world and have the most amazing time, right? Or you reinvest it and now you control more asset. I'm going to give you an example, team, and I know we've touched on this earlier. If you've got, right, £1 million portfolio with no debt on it, and the market goes up 10%, what do you make? You make 100,000 of growth. But you don't get it until you sell. But if you've got £1 million portfolio and you borrow 750,000 against it, that gives you enough deposits to buy another 3 million of property. Now you've got a £4 million portfolio instead of just a £1 million portfolio. So when the market goes up 10%, guess what? You make 400,000 instead of just 100,000. You haven't put any more of your own money in. You haven't put anything else in. You've just used the leverage of finance. And Sharon, that's what you're not doing right now. That's what you're not doing right now. I would love to coach and help you through that journey. So go release 75,000, Sharon, right? Release the 75%, and then take that capital and invest it really wisely to build your asset base. Your job as an investor is to control as much asset as you possibly can. And by paying down the LTV, you're not controlling as much asset as you could. So yeah, hope that makes sense. Great question, and you're getting it. And there's no capital gains, there's no tax at all to pay. In fact, it'll make you more tax efficient because you'll pay less income tax because you'll be able to offset your mortgages. Hajni, apologies, I'll not be able to attend the live event in September. Can you offer alternative days? You definitely want to. I don't recommend attending live event in September. It's next week, right? So there's other dates as well. So just Hajni, just speak to the team. So speak to the team offline. They'll help you work out the best possible dates for you. Okay, and you and the team can work out the dates together that are going to sort this for you. Okay. So don't panic. Just speak to the team. They'll sort them out. You don't want to be attending next week because you want to do some online learning first and then come and attend. Okay. So that's a far better thing to attend after a couple of months. Okay. YH, how about social housing? Because then you'll ask me better questions. You'll have more to ask me. Be a far better time to come. YH, how about social housing? A lot of people are after it now. Social housing can be a great investment strategy, can work really, really well. Again, you need to know the rules and the analysis and everything else. But as a general principle, social housing is where it might be a charity that comes to you, or it might be the council themselves, or it might be the council have subcontracted it to a housing provider. And for example, you've got two disabled people with some mental difficulties who need somewhere to live, and they will forever, and they need a carer. So now you need a 3-bed house. They put them in a 3-bed house. The carer can stay as well. That would be considered social housing. Now, the difficulties are some lenders hate social housing. They don't like it. Normally, the provider wants a longer-term lease because they might do some adaptations to the house. A lease is different to a tenancy, which again affects lenders, whether they like it or not. It's great because you normally get paid more than normal rent. So that's a positive about it. So you need to just check out the mortgage provision, check out the lease, make sure that's all as it should be. And what you want to be doing is working with a company that have got a good track record. So the social housing providers that have set themselves up, set a load of stuff up and then gone pop with rental money and stuff like that, and then left a mess behind. Or they do 5-year contracts, get everybody housed, and then they disappear. And after 5 years, they're all up for renewal, and there's no one funding it anymore, and the whole thing collapses, and then you have problems with the property. So absolutely, it's a great strategy, but just be careful with it and know what you're doing. Paul said no minimum age for shareholders, UK only directors. There is. I hear you, but there is an impact. Paul, go try and get a mortgage, right, with a 15-year-old shareholder for a buy-to-let. It's not going to happen, right? Because they credit check the major shareholders and they want you to be a guarantor, and they're not 18, so you can't get a mortgage. So please be careful when you put something on as a statement. I'm not having a go at you, by the way. Other people do it too. But please be careful, because you've got a big audience here, and someone could go away with that information and make a big mistake, a big mistake that could cost them a lot of money. So yeah, just flagging. So I appreciate you trying to help, Paul. I'm not having a go at all. But yeah, just be careful. Okay. Is there a good way to move a property from your personal name to limited company if you hire a taxpayer bar? I've answered that. Oh, someone's answered, so it's jumped it back down again. That's cool. My WhatsApp's down at the moment, AJ. Okay, no problem. Do limited companies fall into IHT, Yunal? So yeah, it's the value of the equity in there. So if you've got all the shares and there's a $1 million portfolio with 750 of mortgages, the shares are worth the equity in there, which is 250,000. They would be part of your IHT. So by putting properties in a limited company, it's the same as if they're in your personal name in terms of IHT, because that 250 grand of equity would be the same whether it's in the company or in your own name. So yeah. AJ, I did wonder why lots aren't talking about trust, so this does make sense. It's kind of locked away. It is, which is the benefit of a trust. It keeps it locked away. It's the disadvantage of a trust. It keeps it locked away. So Suzanne, could you repeat trust quickly? Yeah, I mean, I don't recommend it. That's me doing it quickly. I don't want to redo it again for 65 people. Sorry, Suzanne. But yeah, I don't recommend it because you can't get finance on it. Okay, Craig, bugger my buy-to-let is in a trust, so I won't be able to remortgage. Is that correct? Listen, I'm not your trust provider, I'm not your financial advisor, etc. But I am 99.9% certain, Craig, that you won't be able to refinance it. Now, if you're the trustee and you're the only trustee or the other trustees on your side, maybe you can break it out of the trust. Maybe you can collapse the trust. Maybe you can do something like that. If it's come down from the generation above, and often they're set up so you can't. You need to go check it out. But I'd be amazed if you can get mortgage finance on it whilst it's within the trust. So you need to speak to whoever is in control of the trust ultimately, or set it up and find out whether it can be broken out of the trust. Sometimes it can be bought out of the trust. The trustee can say, let's sell it out. The money comes in, so the money's now stuck in trust, but that doesn't really help you either. So and then sometimes the trust can then lend the money back to invest with. So there's speak to whoever's running the trust. Okay. Unal, I'm traveling at the end of the month for a couple of months. At any other time I can join. So what you want to do, Unal, is commit to the program now. Get on the phone with Devon, and he'll sort this out. You commit to the program now, and just put a hold on it for 2 months. So it gets you the offer today. I mean, you can ring Devon back in 2 months' time when you're back, but it's 3,991, £3,991 just to come to the 3-day event without all the bonuses. But today I've made an unbelievable offer at 1,995, and you can lock that offer in, but just say I want a delayed start, and you start in 2 months' time. And that's not a problem at all. It locks the offer in for you. So Devon, can you just give me a thumbs up that you'll give you now a call and just talk to him about his options with that? That would be great. Cool. Paul, we didn't boot you. I got booted. But you've clearly somehow got logged off soon. I haven't seen your question yet. So if you put your question in, then I can pick it up. Here we go. So whether to buy 2 cheaper properties through standard way only, because I'm only able to raise 42k, or do I buy 1 property with the rest of the cash, do some control now, pay later? Depends what your overall goal is, Paul, and where you're trying to get to. So what's the end goal? What does amazing look like? I wouldn't go for 2 cheaper properties. You're going to end up buying for less than 70k. You're going to have social demographic issues. I don't recommend it. So no, I wouldn't go for 2 cheaper properties. You want to be buying in maybe 80 to 150, 70, 80 to 150 bracket, which means with your deposit, stamp, everything else, you're not going to get 2. And then, you use control now, pay later on the other deals. That's what I'd be doing. Ken, Aran, are you covering commercial property investment? So Ken, I can absolutely answer lots of questions about it. I can help you with it. I've done it, and it's not one of the 5 core strategies. So we will be covering it this weekend, and we don't cover it on the 3 days at the Property Mentorship Academy. And the reason for that is it's not what I recommend you do. So it'd be a bit wrong for me to say don't do it and then teach it. So that's my answer. But I can answer questions on it if that helps. Or those people that join the program that are not doing it but have one already or are doing it on the side, I obviously help those people a lot. Aran, you said limit instead of impact initially. I'm really sorry, Paul. I'm not sure what you're referring to. So if you can give me more clarity, I may be able to then clarify that. Neil, hi, great to see you. Hi, Aran. Are there any strategies still left to sell a flat to minimise capital gain tax via LLP, LIP, FIC, etc.? Not that I know of, no. And I think I'd know. So, no. I think you just need to take it on the chin, get it sold, pay the capital gains tax, move the equity and get it reinvested. So those of you who've joined me on program, though, don't take that as just a generic Aran says sell, it's a flat sell. Send me the deal, run it by me, email it to me, and then I can check it with you. Those are on Property Mentorship Academy. Fun fact from TA, I went to school in Hummonby near Scarborough. I have a Holylet in Hummonby. My first marriage, I got married in Hummonby Church, TA. So there's a fun fact from me. So very close. And I don't know when you were there, but we were possibly in Hummonby at the same time at certain times. Who knows? Cool. Brilliant. Cool. Edita,
just book on the program and we'll sort out the dates. Okay, just book. If we can't get you a date, we'll give you your money back. That ain't gonna happen, right? But book on the program. We'll sort out the dates. There won't be one in October. There'll be November and there'll be New Year. Okay, it's every 2 to 3 months, probably every 3 months that we run an event. But that gives you time to get on with the online learning, attend the Q&As, ask loads of questions, build your knowledge. Once your knowledge is built, then you come to the live training, and at the live training you've got far more intelligent questions to ask me and you get loads more out of it. So that's the perfect role. Don't be in a rush to attend the 3 days. Just get the program, get the offer, and then we'll sort out the detail of the dates. Okay. So yeah, hope that makes sense. Brill. I think I've answered everyone's questions. And you can probably tell I'm getting a little bit croaky. So it'll probably be a good idea for me to go and rest my voice for a little while, so I can give you a full day tomorrow. So as a reminder, we're back again tomorrow. At 9 a.m. for networking. Those of you who networked this morning, I know you really enjoyed it. That was the feedback I got. So 9 a.m. for networking, 9:30 with me on stage, and we're going to run through till about 4 o'clock. We'll run through till about 4 o'clock. So I really, really appreciate you being here, spending this time with me. You could have done other things with your Saturday, and you've chosen to spend it with me. So I really, really appreciate that. It's really, really great to spend the time with you. And if you've enjoyed today, I promise tomorrow's another level. Honestly, tomorrow's another level. I had to give you the foundation, the framework today. We're going to go another level. So lots and lots and lots of content. You want to be there for that. Make sure that whoever you're committing to seeing later in the day knows it'll be, let's say 4:30 to be safe. Probably be 4 o'clock, but 4:30, and then you can stay focused, you can stay concentrating, and you can get what you need. So thanks for all the kind words coming to the chat. It's really, really kind. Thank you so much. Thank you. And yeah, super excited to spend tomorrow with you. So have a wonderful evening. What we're going to do though, team, don't go for your evening yet, right? In a moment, we're going to open up the networking rooms, right? And probably Devin will come and jump in there with you and mingle with you as well. You can ask him questions, you can get to know stuff. But there's so many. You can see it's 6 o'clock, right? We've been on here for 9 hours and people are absolutely committed. So the other individuals on here are people worth spending time with. So why not just take another 20-25 minutes, go in the networking rooms and have a chat with other people in here, and just get to know them. You never know, your next JV partner might be on here with the money or with a deal, or you might just pick up a nugget from them as well as learning from me. So if you need to get off, I totally understand if you need to disappear, but if you are able to stay, I'd really, really, really recommend it. Those of you who've joined Property Mentorship Academy, by the way, in those first 3 months when I do the Q&A, at the end of it, you get to network with my VIPers. So literally, my VIPers that have bought loads of properties already, kind of well ahead of most people on the journey, they're in that networking. They become peer group. They're there to help support you and be around and get to know offline as well as online. So that's another part of the package I haven't really mentioned, but you get to network with them as well. So okay, brilliant. Thank you for being here. Thanks to those that have joined me on Property Mentorship Academy. I'll see you tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock for networking, 9:30 on stage. If you're going to leave, if you can leave in the next 30 seconds or so, and then in about 30 seconds, those of you staying, we'll open up the networking and you can all network with each other. Okay? Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. I'll see you soon. Thanks so much. I'll see you in the morning. Thank you. Just give us 30 seconds while people log off, and then we'll open up these networking rooms and get you in so you're able to network with each other. I'll see you soon, Tim. Thank you.
Hello, anybody? I think I'm the only one who's not muted.
Hello.
Okay.
Hi. Is that Paul? Hang on, Paul.
Yeah.
Hi, Paul. Amazing. Okay. So it's networking time.
Yeah, I think they're possibly the only ones who are actually doing it.
Great session. Um, had a long one as well previous Saturday and all that. So been attending a lot of these. So yeah, I'm already in one or two other program as well. But each one you learn
Yeah.
new things. So whereabout are you, Paul?
Sorry?
Whereabout
Where?
are you? Yeah, based.
I live in Northamptonshire.
Oh right, okay, nice area. I'm actually in London, so West London, Kingston. So yeah,
Yeah.
so just
Yeah. I'm originally from Kent,
all right.
but I've moved around a bit. So
I used
went from Kent to Gloucestershire,
nice.
Gloucestershire to Northamptonshire.
Wow, you move a lot. Others. Oh, happened.
Or the serviced accommodation.
Ah,
Maybe.
right.
I don't know, but it all depends on my
Well,
situation as well.
yeah, well, I mean, with holiday lets is a strategy I'm doing personally, so it's a great strategy. I mean, in this current climate right now, holiday let is somewhere where you can, you can get great amount of cash flow if it's set up in the right way. Obviously you stick to Aran's rules and his teachings, and buy one in the right location, of the right size. You can make a fair bit of money from it. I mean, some of our clients are making, they make it anywhere between 80 to 140k per year from these properties. Obviously, that's gross. But yeah, I mean, for me personally, it's the best strategy out there right now.
Hmm.
I mean, look, it's Byron in the Lakes right now. So, yeah, super excited to get that sorted.
But then it's looking at like bigger properties, isn't it? So
Yeah, holiday lets is more profitable when you're looking at sort of minimum 5 bedroom and anything under 5 bedroom.
Yes.
The margins tend to be it's much more tight. Sorry, but yeah, for sleeps 10 and plus is where the margins really good because the whole sort of mentality behind it is you should look for people to come like multi-generational people, so family, parents, grandparents, kids, brothers, sisters coming together under one roof, and then obviously they can split the cost over 10 to 14 people, which makes the price per head reasonable,
yeah,
which means we can charge a nice amount per week and they can pay a reasonable amount per head. So that's why it really works when it's a bigger property.
yeah,
Yeah, but so yeah, it's really good. I mean, obviously, essays is a great strategy as well. Obviously, there's more competition with essays though, because the smaller essays, the smaller holder lets. There's a lot of competition out there, so it's a bit more difficult. It's a bit more. I suppose it's more important to get the right area locked down. Doing the research in terms of where the demand is, where's it oversaturated, and going for that particular place. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely places all over the country that still are in need of it of essays. So I mean, both strategies are great.
yeah.
Hello, everyone.
Right.
Hello.
Unal, nice to see you there, sir.
Good to see you.
And now you're right on the fence there right now about joining the academy. I'm hoping you're going to get in. I know that you're looking for a delayed start. So essentially, what that means, Unal, it just means that if you decide to join Aran this weekend to get the bonuses, it just means that you can lock in your bonuses today, and then you can do a delayed start, so you can actually not start the 12 months for up to 6 months, so you can delay the start. So when you get back from your trip, you can then you start from that point onwards and get the full 12 months from when you're ready. Okay.
Just one question is that once you started, you got to commit yourself for a whole year. Because I've got that interest that I sort of every couple of months I travel, or every other 3 months.
I'm going to stop you there. Listen, it's flexible, okay? So we appreciate that. Obviously, a lot of our clients, like yourself, some people are based overseas. You can pause the account. For example, let's say you delay the start for 3 months. Start in January to make it easier. Start in January. You get 12 months from January, but let's say in March you want to go away for the month, you can put your account on pause.
All right, okay.
Pauses, and then you can
all right, that's
you can
good.
unpause it. So basically, Yes, you can stretch the 12 months out for a longer period of time if that suits your needs. Obviously, you don't want to stretch it out too long because you'll stop taking action. So you want to make sure the consistency is there. But obviously, if you need to, we're flexible and we do what we do.
Okay, thank you very much for a clarification. Anyway, that's good.
No problem.
It's good to know.
Yeah, no problem.
I've got my answer.
Right. Okay. Wonderful.
And also, my situation is that I already have a quite good buy-to-let portfolio.
Excellent.
What I'm trying to do is expand it. It's just as, and I live in London, and obviously, this is I joined to sort of how to find out how can I sort of further myself with the investment a lot easier. So that will be the case, I suppose. That's where
well, I mean, the wonderful
be.
thing about the working with Aran is obviously we get clients who from all walks of the journey. So we get people who are just starting out, people who've got a modest portfolio looking to grow, and people on more sort of at your level where they've got a great portfolio and looking to take to the next level. So I mean, obviously Aran's been through that entire journey, so we can definitely support you in. First and foremost, we'll be looking at your portfolio, seeing how we can optimize that and maximize the cash flow, and look at any sort of the ways we can rejig it to make sure it's tax efficient. Once that's done, we'll then put a clear, concise plan in place. Okay, now we know where it's at. Now we can find out exactly what options you've got to move forward, and we'll put that plan in place for you, and I'll work with you that over the next 12 months' time. So that's exactly what we'll do for you now. Okay.
That's good. That's good. Good to know. Okay, lovely.
Yeah.
Anyone else in there that want to ask something?
Yes.
For you?
anyone want to share about today's content? Any questions? Anything at all? I'm here for you guys, 100%.
Yeah, hi guys. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, Joanna. Hi.
Oh, okay, yeah. I joined a bit late because I was actually at work, so I was a bit. It was a little bit tricky to kind of just have my video camera on and to speak while I was meant to be working. But anyway, it's bits and pieces that I've been able to join in with. It's been interesting, and it was the guaranteed interest model. I was just a little bit confused with how you go about using the other person's money in terms of does it involve them remortgaging for that money to be released?
So it really depends on the person, Joanna. So I mean, for example, someone could have the cash in the bank, lend it you. Obviously, if someone's going to remortgage, it's going to be difficult to convince someone to remortgage their property to lend you the money to invest.
Yeah.
So that's going to be quite a difficult sell because they've got to pay interest. So your interest you pay them has got to cover their payments and make it some money to make it reasonable. So I mean, in my experience, it's very unlikely someone's going to refinance their portfolio to lend you money unless you're offering a ridiculous interest rate. So that's going to be it's going to be more difficult to sell unless, for example, you've got a wonderful deal on the table where you can afford to pay, let's say, 10-12% of interest back to that person, and it's a short-term deal. Then that way it makes more sense. But again, obviously, getting the money out of the mortgage can take time. So that's a bit more of a difficult one. But it can be done. It's just the offer to the offer to the person lending the money has got to be super sound and attractive. Because if you were saying to me, Devon, can you refinance your house? Give me 100 grand. I'll refinance my house. Might cost me about 4%. So I've got to be making back probably at least double that to make it feasible. And obviously then I'm locked into a mortgage for another 2 years, what it may be. So it's just got to make sense for the person that you're in business with.
Right. But it's normally, I presume it's normally if that person's got cash in the bank or they've got cash available and they've got that money, available.
Yeah. I suppose really, Joanna, the best thing is someone who's got an interest in property but really not got the time. So so basically, if you've got the experience and the time to bring to the table, and they're bringing the money to the table, that's really all you need. So it's really about ensuring them that obviously you're competent, professional. You've done this type of deals before, showing them a track record works really well, some social proof. But as long as you can, guarantee you're going to get that money back to him, then yeah, it's going to work. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can structure a deal with an investor, and the guaranteed interest model is preferred. Obviously, a lot of people want to own a piece of the action, they want a piece of the property, but obviously we don't, as an investor, you don't really want to give that away. Sometimes you have to, but really, you've got to work out what's best for both parties. But yeah, usually offering them like 8 in today's market, between 8 and 10% usually does the trick.
Okay. Thanks, Devin. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Ken, you okay there, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. More a question of financing, really. Usually,
yeah,
if you get the discount of, let's say, 25%, you get probably a bridging first. If you want to mortgage it, you shouldn't get a mortgage straight away, because you refurbish it. Let's say it's BRR, then you should do a bridging, and then mortgage after it's refurbished, right?
Oh yeah, 100%, Ken. So yeah, you get the bridging first, which obviously the higher interest, more of a short-term loan. Get the bridging loan, get it in, use that. I mean, usually with bridging, you want it to be short-term. So I won't really suggest. I mean, if you can afford it, you really want to get the bridging to secure the just the refurb. But a lot of people do get it to buy the property and the refurb. But yeah, once you bought the property, done a refurb, because you have to buy the property outright, for example, and then once you've done a refurb, you apply for the refinance and get the money back out. So, but yeah, you want to make sure that's not as short term as you can, really, because obviously bridging finance is super expensive compared to mortgages.
You're still not going to get 100% on a bridging loan anyway.
Yeah, that's why it's better to just really, you really want to try and use the bridging loan just for the refurb, really, not for the purchase of the entire house and the refurb, because it's just going to be super expensive.
When comes to the time really after refurbishing and mortgaging, obviously now we're using, let's say, 25% of that deposit is actually equity. How can we prove that to the mortgage? Can we use that discount, or do we have to put in some money first and then take it out again, or can we use
Sorry,
that?
Ken, I didn't quite catch that. Sorry, what was that question, sorry?
Oh, if once refurbished, now you want to mortgage and keep the property. Now we need to use the equity left as the deposit.
You revalue it at that point after you've done all the refurbishment.
Yeah.
And then you get 75% of
the new valuation.
Whatever the new value is.
Correct.
You get your equity out that way.
My question. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. What my question is, will the mortgage company look at where is this 25% coming from? You said, it's uplift. Will they accept that? Just accept it, or do you really physically need to put in a deposit first? Because you're still borrowing 75% of the uplift.
If they're going to lend you 75% of the value, then the 25% is effectively equity that you already own.
Yeah, it's already in there. You don't need to put that back in there. It's already in the property anyway, so you don't need to put it back in there, if that makes sense. So if you've got a property with X amount of money, and then you refurb it and it raises in value, and then you refinance it for 75% of the new value, that equity that you originally put in there is still sat in there, so you don't need to re-put it in there. It's already in there. So
because I've never done this mortgaging or remortgaging after the uplift, so I've never done how do I prove it 25%? I know it's an evaluation, but will the lawyer or the valuer confirm up to the
Ken, you don't need to pay a deposit when you're refinancing. So when you're buying a house, you put in a 25% deposit. When you're refinancing, you don't need to put in a deposit as well. You just refinance the property, you get the money. You don't need to put a deposit down when you're refinancing. It's just a secured loan against the asset. So there's no deposit needed.
Even though it's the first time. If it's a first-time mortgage, in that case, let's say we funded fully the first time round, either bridging finance and investors' money, and then comes to mortgage it as a first time round.
Because essentially you're not buying the house. You own the house anyway, and you're lending money from the bank against the house. So you are quite right. You're buying it. If you was to buy a house, you put a deposit down, security against negative equity, but because you already own the asset, when you refinance it, you don't need to put any more money because the assets the asset essentially is the deposit, if that makes sense. That's security, and then you're lending money from the bank against the asset. So yeah, when you refinance it because you own it, you don't need to put any money down. It's just simply, I've got a house worth £100,000. Can you give me 75k? Yes, I can.
Will that work for delayed completion though? Because you really haven't own it. You are actually going to own it at the completion. Let's say a delayed completion of 6 months, and you will complete in 6 months, and you still don't own it. You're gonna own it once you buy it, but then will that work with that equity?
You can do that back to back.
Okay.
So when you pay the balance and you remortgage it, you can arrange it so it's on the same day, and the solicitor does it as a back-to-back transaction.
Okay. Back transaction. Okay, I've got it. Yeah. Okay. Right.
Yeah, good question though, Ken. I mean, sometimes these things are just a little bit tricky to get your head around. So yeah, good questions, mate.
It's the timing. The timing is so crucial, isn't it? I mean,
mate, tell me about it. It's so crucial, and obviously sometimes super frustrating the timing in property, but yeah, you got to do what you can to try and line it as best you can.
You need a broker who is very good in bridging and very good in commercial. Not commercial. I mean, it's called commercial. Is buy to let or whatever you call it. Yeah. They got to be good at both, or two different person in one company. Otherwise,
we do everything.
You do everything. Okay.
We do all bridging, commercial, holiday lets.
What's your company for?
Commercial Finance Network.
Okay.
I don't own it, but I work for it.
Yeah, if you can, I don't know how do I get your contact. We're networking, aren't we? Can you PM me your number? Or are you part of the team? Are you part of the team?
No, I'm just an attendee.
Okay, that's good.
Where are we? Here we go.
That's how you.
I will vouch for Paul, look, because I've seen Paul's name. Paul's been in our networks, in our ecosystem for quite some time now. So what I can say about Paul is he's always attending these events, so he's always keeping himself sharp. So he definitely knows his stuff.
I'm sure.
And I've actually already got all this course.
Nice.
Paul, did you join Frank, or have you joined Aran in the past? Your name definitely rings a bell. Did you join have you joined Frank Flegg or Aran Curry in the past? Because your name certainly rings a bell.
I've been to a few of the webinars. I did buy a course from Aran some years ago, which has got all of this in it. So I effectively might well be on the A list somewhere.
I think you bought the PMA program a couple of years back, but obviously you get lifetime access. So if you do jump back in, Paul, it'll be all up to date with with any current changes in legislation. So if you want to refresh,
actually, that was one of my questions. Was like, do they keep the online stuff all up to date?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I mean, there's not everything changes all the time. Anytime anything does change, it is updated, and that's you've got lifetime access to it, so it'll always be relevant.
Paul, is there a way around? My credit record is not great because I had to sell all my BTL stuff, COVID and all that kind of thing, and crash, and my record is a bit damaged. So I'm using a limited company to buy. How do I get around? Because my credit record is still going to be relevant.
It depends if you've got another director of the company, another shareholder. So basically, if you've got two directors and one of them's got a good record, then it's a lot easier.
18-year-old?
Sorry?
18-year-old, very young. 18. My
as long as they've got good credit score.
Okay.
Although, I mean, we have people who don't have great credit scores and we still get them finance.
Okay. Well, depends.
But they do it because they do it on an individual basis. It depends why you've got a bad credit score. So if you've missed a few payments on a mortgage that you've had for a buy to let, that will be less serious than if you've been a bankrupt in the past, for example.
Okay, all right. I'll pick your number.
Okay, so a lot of people are asking me. So what I will do, if Devon doesn't mind,
Oh,
just post.
you could completely fine to do so, mate.
Sorry.
You're completely fine to do so, mate. Of course.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'll post my. I'll try and post my.
What's the
Hang
name of
on.
the comic again? Commercial Network, is it?
Commercial Finance Network. If you do a search for them,
That's-
they're really big. They're one of the biggest brokers in the country.
All right.
I didn't realise you was. So, are you a mortgage broker, Paul?
Yeah.
I didn't realise that.
I got fingers in all sorts of pies. I build houses. I'm an IT guy, geek, mortgage
Oh, sorry.
broker.
Yeah, of course. We spoke about this earlier today. Of course, we did. Yeah, yeah. To do apologise,
Yeah,
Paul.
yeah.
Yeah, remember?
You,
Yeah,
you were
yeah.
the one who WhatsApped me.
Yeah. Sorry, I just yeah. Of course, yeah. You've got things in many. Oh, yeah. I've remembered the conversation now because I sent you quite a long message. It took me quite a while to to put that together. Yeah. Wonderful stuff, Paul.
Yeah. Okay. So I've posted my mobile number in the chat thing on the right. So if anybody's can't find
Commercial,
it, then by all means get in touch.
Commercial Finance Network. That's his company. Oh well, he works for that company.
Yeah. So commercial finance network dot UK, I think it is, or com. Can't remember now.
All right.
But we do everything. We do as I say, business loans, set finance, bridging. We even do Sharia mortgages. So
Oh, wow.
we cater for everyone.
Okay.
And we don't charge anything to find out if we've got a product for you. So that's a freebie, as it were. We'll find you.
Sorry, don't mean to dominate this. If anything asking, just ask. But if no one's asking, I'll ask anyway. Especially for Paul.
Of course, Ken. Of course.
I've got a potential deal whereby it's like a short lease.
Paul, can I ask you something as well?
Sure.
Yep.
Sure.
Whoever that was.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So can you finish first? Can you finish first? And then
Can go first, and we'll go somewhere else.
The deal is a deal extension for 25 years lease. Is cheap. Is cheaper, but then I'll get delayed completion. Let's say I need 6 months to extend that to over 100 years. Would you be able to?
Refinance it. Refinance it once you've got the lease extended. Because if it's anything under 50 years, the lenders don't really want to know, or they'll charge you a lot. So so under a BRRR, in your case, it would be BR, and the next R would be release it.
New category, yeah. But if I have to pay this amount, so I have to come up with cash first, unless they agree a token.
Okay, so this is a totally different idea for you. Okay. If you've ever heard of Rob Moore,
very much so. He's the first guy I attended.
Watch his YouTube about zero finance.
Okay.
You can basically buy a house on zero interest credit cards if you play it right.
All right. Okay.
Legally, yeah. So, but that if you get a zero interest credit card to pay for your lease side of it, and then once you do that, you go from that to a zero balance transfer card, you can get sort of 6 years interest-free credit. It's worth a watch.
I've seen that before, Paul. I mean, as long as you're just on top of it, then it works out.
Yeah, as long as you can meet the minimum payments.
As long as you manage it well, it's a gig. It's a wonderful way to access finance. Yeah.
Apparently, there was a guy had 70 cards, and I think he had a credit of facility of 1.2 million.
Wow.
Okay. So if you play the banks at their own game, you can get interest-free lending.
Yeah, Paul, you're completely right there, mate. As long as you play that game the right way, it can be a game changer. I mean, I didn't really know. To be fair, I didn't really know about this side of using debt to your advantage until I met Aran. But that you mentioned there is a wonderful tool. Wonderful tool.
By the way, Paul, do you know Kevin Wright?
Who? Sorry,
Kevin Wright is big on recycling cash. Recycle your cash. Kevin Wright?
No, doesn't ring a bell.
All right, he's the one I'm learning from now.
All right, okay. Who was the other person who was asking a question? I feel as though I'm
It was
dominating this now.
Paul, mate. Your information's bang on. It was Unal or Unal, sorry.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's okay. It was quite interesting hearing all of that. Anyhow, so it's good learning something. I was just gonna say I've got a property which is commercial with the shop and the flat above.
Yeah.
But it's all paid. There's no loan or anything. Is there a possibility of sort of raising a bit a finance on that one for the BLT, BTL reasons, BLT,
Yeah.
BTL
If you
reasons?
want to finance it, if it's unencumbered, we can finance it, and then you can use that to finance a buy to let, and then we can tie that up with a mortgage as well, so that when you've got the deposit out from your shop, you can then use it to finance the mortgage for your new property.
Yeah, the shop is leased out, and the flat is mine.
That's even better, because if it's leased out, it means it's worth more.
Yeah,
An
yeah,
empty
yeah.
shop is not as worth as much as one that's tenanted.
Yeah, it is tenanted. It's leased out, and also the it's not separated. On the deed,
I mean, it's
they are all
on the
one
same deed.
unit.
It's not.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
same deed.
The only thing I would say about that is it's not a problem, but if you do a title split, it will up the value.
I think so. That's what I was told. And also, I've got another
Yeah.
property, which is they've got two flats on one deed, and then
Yeah. Again, if you've got
I
two flats, if you split those into, say, for example, you've got a shop and two flats above it, and they're all on one deed. If you title split it into three, they will actually produce an uplift in the value of the whole,
Mhm.
as well as the
Oh, I see.
individual.
The flat, what I was saying, is just the one normal residential property that we sort of I turned it into two flats, right?
Yeah.
Two bedroom flats, but they are still on one um, deed, so I haven't
Yeah.
really changed. To be able to do that, do you have to issue leaseholds for them?
Yes. So basically, what you would do is split title via your solicitor, and you would keep the freehold in one company name, for example, or your own personal name, and then
Yes,
the
of
two
course.
leaseholds would effectively be sold on to the
Yes, you can be
either the
separated.
company, or you
Hmm.
could lease them out long term.
Hmm. Okay, lovely. Thank you very much. That's what I wanted. I think that for the finance, it's a lot easier to raise finance on that one when they're separated, aren't they?
Makes no difference to us. We can sort it all out for you.
Oh, okay, good. All right, I'll pick up your number there I'll have a look, and then we talk again directly.
Okay, no problem.
That's all, really. That's mine.
Anybody else want to go?
Paul, I think next week you should have a webinar. Got some serious knowledge here, Paul.
Sorry?
He said next weekend I think you should have a webinar because your knowledge is seriously useful, mate.
Well, I've been I don't know. I've been doing it for what, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, something like that.
Is that
I
all?
just haven't got around to actually purchasing my first buy to let. I've been too busy
Mate, knowledge is really
building
good. Helping other
or
people, by the sound of things.
yeah, I should start my own
You
channel.
could
or
write a
something.
book. Paul. You could write a book.
Yeah.
If no one is asking, Paul, if
Yeah.
you usually recommend one SPV for every single property and not having more than
No.
one.
I wouldn't know. So
No,
what
I
I
don't
would
either.
do is I would have two companies. One holds all the properties, and the other one does all the trading, whatever that happens to be. So that can do all the letting and everything else.
Oh.
But if you keep all the properties in one basket, then that's fine. If you want to split that up into several, then it also works, but you don't need to. The only other thing.
Selling it
Go on.
would it be easier to sell it though? I mean, obviously. Yeah.
Well, if you wanted to sell, so say you were planning on your end game is to buy property, hang on to it for a while, and then sell it for the uplift. Put them into separate SPVs. Okay. The reason that I say that is because you can sell the business, and the stamp duty is a lot less
I thought so.
than it would be if you. Although that might change because it might be the seller who's paying the stamp duty rather than the buyer. At the moment, by selling an SPV itself, you're making it more attractive to the buyer because they're not having to pay all the stamp duty. So if you imagine you've got a £500,000 house in a company, and you're only paying 2% on the transaction of the shares, as opposed to 5 plus 3% on the transaction of the actual sale of the property. That person is saving effectively 6% of
Half a
the sale
million.
price.
It's a lot of money. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, good. Okay.
So, Paul, can I ask you a question, Paul? Because you got me thinking now. So, I've been doing a lot of research into this, and so I was finding some people saying that having more than four in a limited company can affect refinancing from lenders going forward. Is that something you've come across, or is that just
I haven't come across that at all. No.
yeah?
I mean, if you think about
Yeah.
it, it would make no sense, because if,
So I
for
thought, yeah,
example, you're borrowing, and you say you've got 10 houses in one company,
yeah,
that is guaranteed by that limited company. So the lender has more clout because they've got the property, and they can also come after the limited company. That
yeah,
limited company's got 10 properties.
yeah.
It's more valuable than a company that's got two.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But yeah, I was speaking to a guy the other day. He was telling me something completely different, but it's
There
exactly
might be
what I thought.
some lenders out there who don't like that. I mean, lenders they vary a lot. I mean, our lenders tend to be either banks, building societies, but also pension funds and individuals.
Ah, right, okay. So, all right, you got access to pensions and individuals. Ah, interesting,
Yeah, so
very
when
interesting.
people say it's a whole of market, and it turns out they've only got
It's
seven lenders.
it's very rarely the whole of the market. Yeah, that's interesting. I
Yeah,
thought.
but we are true whole of market and everybody outside of the mainstream.
Yeah, appreciate that, Paul. Appreciate that. Yeah, because I thought it was the case. I thought it was surely if the company's got more assets, it's worth more money. Why would it be more difficult to borrow more money? It just didn't make sense.
I'll tell you what
But
you could do, and which I have become a fan of, AI. Ask the question and see what it says. So, I mean, I personally, I used to use ChatGPT, but because I've come from an IT background, I guess. But I now use Copilot a lot, and that
Copilot is
is
really
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 good.
good. Yeah,
Yeah,
my missus got Copilot. The company she works for, because it's quite expensive, like fund it for that. It's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable how good it is.
yeah,
It's
I get
crazy.
it to work out all my tax structures and everything.
Mate, it's unbelievable. It's really really unbelievable. No, I appreciate that, Paul. I didn't. Yeah, so yeah, that's what I thought to be first. But what I was speaking about, I was speaking to a client the other day, and he had these different views. But yeah, I thought this did add up to me. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Anyway, is anyone else got anything to say? Any more questions? Neil,
Yeah, one
Tar, or
more
anything?
from me,
Oh,
if
yeah, of
if
course.
you have time, please.
Yeah, we're there all night.
All my properties, I own personally with my wife now, and we've got quite a bit of liquid. I haven't really cashed it in. So
Yes.
what we're planning to do now, because I'm sort of in my 60s, and invested. Is it sort of when you raise the capital, is it okay to invest in a company sort of that way? What do you think on that one?
Yeah,
Are
to
you
be
saying
fair,
release the equity and then invest it in, say, shares?
yeah, I mean, my take on that
Into,
one is
I
yeah, I
mean,
mean, obviously release the funds.
buying another property. That's what I mean in that sense.
Well, my take on that is you could release the funds. Yeah, they do direct loan to limited company, and then buy the new assets under limited company, and that way you can obviously you can then claim the payments back from the director's loan.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Paul, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, if you're owning them personally and you release the equity, that means A, that your personal wealth, if in that company, in that property, diminishes, so therefore that reduces your AHT liability. You take the
Mm-hmm.
cash and you put it into a limited company, and then you want to buy the property through the limited company. Um, by investing it into the limited company, you're effectively getting a credit on your director's loan account. So it means you can draw it out anytime afterwards, and there's no tax to pay.
Which is
So,
wonderful.
so yeah. So, for example, say your limited company uses the equity release. that you've lent it, it buys a property, that property then increases in value, you refinance it at, say, 5 years' time, you can then draw down what you originally put in as cash and stick it straight in your pocket.
Yeah, tax free. So it's me. I mean, even if you did, even if you just wanted to take out the rent, for example. So let's say you weren't planning to take it out if it brings a value. If you just get the cash flow in at the end of the year, lump that together, take it out, tax free.
Yeah, I
So
mean that's the other thing. I mean, instead of keeping the rent in the company, you can actually just basically take it out as part of your director's
yeah,
loan.
exactly. So
Yeah.
you've got
Yeah.
basically, yeah, you've got a tax free income there for
Yeah,
as long as that debt is still unpaid, which is great.
That's mainly what
Exactly what
I'm
I'm.
looking for to help,
Yeah.
really. Other things, yeah.
To be fair, yeah, that's actually. I mean, to be fair, considering that you've got all this was in your name right now, to be fair, I mean that'd be my advice on the logical next step is to refinance your portfolio to the level where you're comfortable with. Obviously, like Paul said, it's going to decrease your IHT liability as well, and then use that money to then reinvest in a limited company, and then obviously you've got this large bill that's owed to you by a limited company, where you can take out tax free for the next how many years it takes to pay back. So it definitely makes sense to go down that route. And again, if you do join the academy, then that's 100% what we'll do for you.
Lovely, sounds good. Thank you very much. One more thing. Just you did mention about I heard about running the company and also having another company looking after what was it, the collections or whatever the service. What was that
Trading
one?
company.
So if you've got a trading company, okay, separate from your property owning company, it means that they're treated differently. So a property owning company, when it comes to tax and IHT and all that sort of stuff, and I'm not a tax advisor, but I just happen to know stuff. It's treated differently. So a trading company can be handed down unless they change the rules as part. It doesn't form part of your estate as such. So it sort of gets around. I forget what they call it, but there is a name for where you pass it down to your next generation.
Family investment company.
Sorry?
Family investment company.
So no, I mean it's not called a. So that effectively, your property owning business will be an investment company.
Yeah.
And it will be treated as such. So therefore, the tax treatment is different. But the trading company. So for example, your business was buy something, refurbish it, and then it's refinanced. So the refinance side would be done by the owning company, but your trading company could handle all the refurbishment and that, claim all the VAT back and all that sort of thing. Whereas when you've got a company that is effectively classed as an investment company, it's more difficult to get the tax and expenses through it. So that's why you separate it.
I was just about to add that, Paul. Yeah, great. I mean, when obviously when you put expenses against your account, it's much easier to put expenses through a trading company than it is through an investment company. So from that, obviously, car expenses, maybe some travel costs, all the usual expenses you'd have. Yeah, the spectrum of what's accepted is much larger from a trading company opposed to an investment company. So it does make sense to have two. Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's going to cost you a little bit of money on accounting fees, but it's definitely worth it.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Neil, is there a Neil on here?
Yeah.
Yes.
You're trying to get in touch with me, apparently.
Yes.
So if you WhatsApp me on that number I put up, I will answer you when it comes through, if that's okay.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you.
No problem.
Who's AJ? Is AJ on here?
AJ, Alice.
Alice. All right, Alice. Yeah, so I
been
see
very quiet
comments
all
on the
night.
side.
I only know she's Alice because we've been chatting offline.
Right, okay. Nice to see you still. I've just seen your message there. Nice to see you still, Alice.
Did someone ask for me?
No, sorry, I didn't realise you were still on, Alice. I just see you commenting in the chat there saying it's still blowing your mind, so that's super nice of you to say. But I didn't realise you were still on here, so yeah, nice to see you still on here. That was all.
I'm just absorbing it like a sponge, but I'm a bit of a zombie right now. I only got about 5 hours sleep last night, but I'm always determined to be one of the last to leave when it's beneficial to me. So
you're the same at parties as well.
I am actually.
5 o'clock in the morning, she's still there.
And then it gets
I'm not
disturbed.
leaving.
Oh, I should have gone earlier.
Stopping away at sunrise.
No, to be fair, that's some great conversations in this networking session. Some great questions, some great answers. So yeah, it's definitely been worth spending an extra hour or so with you guys to go through it. So yeah, I appreciate all your time and energy, guys. Really appreciate it. Especially you, Paul. Super.
Yes.
Especially appreciate your time.
You're more than welcome, as is everybody else. So, as anybody's got any queries or things, always happy to answer.
Somebody suggested a WhatsApp group. Is that allowed, Devon?
Yeah, of course, guys. Man, this is network session. This is what it's all for, guys. Connecting, communicating. So yeah, of course, support group. That's completely fine.
I'm gonna quickly repurpose one of my dormant one, and hang on, very quick because they're already ready made. There you go. Join me. I'm actively sourcing deals as well in the south and north. I can't take all of them, so it's good.
Yeah,
actually, I just posted the WhatsApp group link there. I'll find a good icon for it at the moment. I just repurpose a dormant group that I used to use. Excellent. Yeah.
If I could just practice selling myself.
Go ahead, AJ.
Well, yeah, because I'm new to this. I'm trying to do as many webinars as I can. Not many of them incorporate these kind of networking times, whether in the chat or kind of face to face, weirdly, but just like these rooms. So yeah, I'm trying to build connections, contacts, basically just so people kind of get an idea of who I am. I'm based in Nottingham. My name's Alice, because I have to put AJ on there. 21 years in the NHS.
Wow.
Nearly 20 of that was secretary, PA, admin roles to consultants around the NHS, different teams, loads of different teams. And then the last few years has been face-to-face mental health care, specifically forensic males, so caught up in criminal activity kind of related directly to their mental health. And that's kind of my why. I'm really into mental health, and that's my kind of long-term plan, if I can just kind of get financially free, because the last few years I've literally been on minimum wage, taking out of my savings. I've ended that actually since July. I've been unemployed, first time in my life, but so much happier.
Where about in Nottingham? Where about Nottingham are you, AJ?
Nottingham, Basford, so north.
Oh, right. I did my degree in the Nottingham Law School, Nottingham University. So I'm actually reconsidering going back to Nottingham and investing, because I'm familiar. I was there for several years, and I'm familiar and it's cheaper, and so I'm looking at Nottingham again now.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So get in touch. You never know, because I used to live in Beeston.
Yes.
And traveling to Nottingham Law School, Nottingham University.
That's very student heavy down in Beeston, I think, with the
quite expensive now, isn't it? Very expensive.
Yeah.
So AJ, can I give you some feedback on you selling yourself? That's okay.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, so first of all, thank you so much for doing that. Obviously, it's difficult to share, just try and say stuff in a group that you don't know. So yeah, it takes a lot of bravery. So definitely applaud that. Applaud your service in the NHS. So what I'd say, just from an investment point of view, so definitely great intro in terms of obviously you experiencing what you've done and really explaining you why. But the next step is obviously you need to flesh out exactly what it is you're looking to do in property and making that very clear for people to understand in a very concise way. So what I'd say is wonderful start. Yeah, keep that as it is to explain you why. It's really, really powerful. But yeah, in terms of what it is you're looking to achieve in property, I know you knew, so it's difficult for you to do that right now. But then work towards making it clear what it is you offer in property, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, that's kind of why I'm trying to just remind myself that I've got kind of transferable skills and
course.
they have value for myself and others that might connect with
I
it.
also noticed during the seminar you were putting some kind of, if you were anyone interested in ISA or something. I couldn't really. It was just you've got something
Oh, well,
in
just
that finance.
well, I just happened to. I was just trying to make conversation. Really, I was just saying what I was doing, kind of while I was listening. So I've just sorted the money out earlier this morning. But I've and it kind of links in with what Devon was just trying to feed back to me in terms of my footsteps towards investing. Now, I've just kind of in the last year, 18 months, and having turned a significant age, you kind of review your life, and I've been very, very risk averse, I've realised, and so now I've been putting my money in investment positions, and then once you click on these things, then you get more things. So it was literally on social media that then these property investment opportunities have come my way, and I'm captivated, to be honest now.
I think you're at the right place.
Yeah.
Yeah, really happy to have you, Juno.
Yeah, good luck. It's something new.
Just my own advice is in terms of, obviously there's a lot of property entrepreneurs out there. Obviously there's a lot of information being shared that sounds really good, really useful. My own advice is just always go with your gut instinct with these people online, and two, just try and do a little bit of research on what they're actually saying, because sometimes it's in practicality it's much more difficult than a lot of people make it out to be. Yeah, it's not property's not a get rich quick scenario. It's just not. It takes time, takes effort, it takes consistency. So yeah,
definitely.
Anyone's saying they can get you there quick, or just be careful of the charlatans out there. That's all I'd say. Because I've been in the industry for 4 years now with Aran, and obviously we've worked with thousands of clients, and I've heard some really unfortunate stories about people, investing with the wrong people. So yeah, just go with your gut. Yeah, I mean, if you can always meet the person, meet the person, have a chat with them, get sort of a understanding of what kind of person they are. It massively helps you. That massively helps, I suppose. But again, it's that's my advice.
Yeah, that's really. I appreciate that, and I don't think I'd had much experience with Aran until today, but I've been really impressed, and with you say gut feeling, I'm big on that anyway. And yeah, Aran seems a good one to keep kind of on the radar, definitely.
Oh, listen, Aran's changed my life. I said I've been Aran for 4 years. Started with Aran knowing nothing about property at all, and now thankfully 4 years later, I'm in a position where I'm looking at 7-figure deals. So it's just been absolutely life changing. But I work for Aran. I'm not been a client of his. I've worked for him, a part of the company. So obviously I'm a little bit biased, as you probably can imagine. But yeah, it's been massive in helping my own personal journey. So yeah, I owe a lot to Aran. So yeah, I really respect the guy, and is obviously super successful. So, and he's a super good guy as well. I mean, he's a super nice guy.
Yes, indeed.
Right,
I think.
I think, guys, I'm going to shoot off now because I've got my baby girl upstairs, and I need to just go give her a quick kiss before she goes to bed. So, really appreciate all your time, guys. I hope you had a wonderful day, and I'll be here tomorrow at 9 a.m. sharp.
Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Good night, everyone. Enjoy your evening.
Guys, thanks so much for your time. Enjoy your evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys. Bye for now. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.